Kwangdong selected red, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Which is not the meta. Generally not the meta for many a year. So seems like maybe CV Max has got something up his sleeve.
It does feel really strong if the AD carry and support roles are the final ones to be locked in, which has been quite common, where you can know what supports are banned. You have the opportunity to pick with the prio pick, whether that's the AD carry like a Zeri or an Ezreal, or you get to pick the prio support. Then you get counter pick on the support on red side as well, which has been quite common. So we're not seeing as many, because all the top and mid picks are so high tier and you have to lock them early. It has really been the AD carry role that's been and support that's been the biggest benefactor of red side. As we do see Skarner and Cassante, those rocks, because they know they're not going to play through top side. Dudu's going to be playing weak side up there. They don't want to give him the opportunity to sit on a big tanky boy while Cuz, camps out bottom side.
Jax going to be taken away. Definitely a champ that Dudu enjoys, but Zeus loves his TF, so I think it's a bit of both, but maybe even more so that Zeus is just threatening the TF, perhaps even first pick or first rotation here. Definitely one of his best champs.
Ashe, I think a fantastic ban against both Guma and Keria, both very good at this pick. See what that first pick is going to be. The Tristana and the Taliyah both open with a lot of strong jungle synergy for the Taliyah. It'd be tough to give that one over to Bulldog, because that's some pretty good games of it. His Tristana and his Corki, though, which we will probably see the handshake of, have been very, very strong. As T1 won't be the ones to make that choice of mid lane. They'll give the ball over to Kwangdong Freaks to say, we're going to react to what you lock in here. The Yone pick, they've seen rising up a lot on this patch. Feels a lot stronger when you have the Sejuani first pick here, so that may be the angle for Faker.
Yeah, definitely could be. Also, Faker, he did have that whoopsie at level 1 up against Showmaker, but he has shown that he is not scared of playing the Corki versus Tristana matchup. He's okay to take that handshake, and we know that Faker loves Corki, so they take the Sejuani instead. Owner did look fantastic on that in that series as well.
And since we had the first 2 games of Cuz Maokai, it has been banned against him every single game until now. And unlocked to play it here with the Tristana. He will lock it in instantly. Happy to take that one. Faker will handshake the Corki into this Tristana. Question is now, do we grab a Zeus pick? That's not the one I expected blind, but it's the one we're going to get. Pretty good into the Maokai. As looking for a potential range champion here for this matchup for Dudu. And Jace Maokai, an old favorite.
Is he really going to pull the Vayne out against Zeus? I don't think that's a good idea.
I think he's taunting him with a little bit, but I think he definitely would rather play the Jace here.
It's just so weird to see Gnar this early. We rarely are seeing Gnar. If we are seeing it, we're seeing answered with Kennen and stuff like that, but we know that Zeus is so fantastic at this pick that I guess they just feel it's very reliable. It can have synergy with Sejuani if he goes Mega, and he's just going to play it.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, Zeus is, when you think about Zeus, you think about the lethality Aatrox, you think about the Kennen, this namesake, you think about Twisted Fate and Vayne, those top pushing champions, but he came from Gnar, okay? This was his original iconic pick here in the LCK's debut pick, so if there's anyone who's going to blind it, it's him. And will be the Aatrox to answer here for Dudu in the top side, a pick that's been cropping up quite a bit recently. But yeah, it feels strange to prio this pick, and T1 didn't want to react a lot in this draft and not dictate the pace, as Lucian and Kalista both removed here. The Nautilus is still available, the Kai'Sa is gone. Nautilus ban here would protect a potential Guma Zeri pick. He usually strays away from that, but it would allow Kwangdong Freaks to just steal it away as well. The power red side here in this bottom AD carry support situation, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Feels so strong in this position in draft.
Alistair, and that's what Andal has been picking as on R5. I can't even get these words out because I'm so excited, because this is what has happened many times with Andal in R5. He just picks the Alistair. You want to play Nautilus? Alistair. You want to play Rel? Alistair. And he's great at it. He makes plays happen. And now, they're going to pick up the Zeri and say, okay, play Nautilus. We don't care. I think you have to pick the Nautilus here, but could go Leona as well. Ezreal Leona the choice here for Guma Carrion.
Yeah, and this is gonna get really interesting. Now, there's a lot of different picks you can play here, but the Rel seems the safest with that Alistar ban. And, I mean, they could have even gone Enchanter here to try to speed the Zeri up, give her a little bit more safety in lane, so you're not constantly bashing heads. The Braum also, I think, a pretty decent pick in this scenario. Nautilus so strong into Ezreal. Like, there's so many good options here, but the lane is going to be really interesting. Like, we have not really gone into a meta for a long time where it's both AD carries are actually relatively weak in the lane, but much stronger later on. Obviously, there's some big spikes, like Zeri can all in at level 6 and level 2. There's some stuff you can do in certain matchups, but usually it's, okay, there's a Zeri on one side, there's a lane that's trying to punish that Zeri early. We saw Lucian, Nami, Zeri, Lulu for the longest time. That's the quintessential theme. But now we have a scaling AD carry with a strong mid-game Corki, Gnar for late-game engage, so you have a lot of AD threats here for T1 against a team that has really strong engage, really strong split pushing with the Tristana, and this is a pretty cool draft. And I think this is one of those moments where you look at the draft, you look at the game, and you go, we've moved into a different era. We've moved into a different meta. The bottom lane is completely different than how it was being played just 2 months ago, and I'm here for it.
That makes me very happy, Wolf. You know, I've said many a time that you can play pretty much anything in the bottom lane, and I'm sure that makes Guma happy as well, that they can ban Kai'Sa, they can ban Alistar, and he just gets to play Ezreal. He doesn't have to worry about threats. He says, okay, sure, play Zeri. I don't care. I'm playing Ezreal. I'm going to carry. We'll see if he does it here in this game. As Carriel also on that Leona, excited to see that. But Leaper does get a hyper carry in his hands, and we'll be excited to see if he can carry on his side for the Quantum Freaks. Here comes game number 1.
소환사의 협조가 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Here we go, game number 1. You mentioned the Quantum fans are just very energetic. It feels like one of the only fan bases that really challenges T1 in terms of volume.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'd argue that, at least in my experience so far this season, even more than the Gen G fans. And it's just this, I mean, every day the LCK, you know, sells out. It's full every time. So it's not like there's just less fans of one particular team. Even on a T1 day, you know, like there's a, the Guangdong side is extremely loud, because can be seen here. One thing I wanted to mention just really briefly, we talked about the AD carry meta evolutions and changes. We talked about the key player matchup being Guma versus Leaper, and both players are given late game hyper carries here essentially, especially with how Israel is being played in this meta right now. You can do a lot with him. If you can hit those Mystic shots, you have the power to carry late game fights, front to back. And I feel like this is the cleanest, fairest test that Leaper will get against Guma. They didn't give him Ezreal into a Guma Kalista lane. He's not going to be playing into Lucian Nami. It's just straight up old-fashioned late game AD carry versus AD carry action here. If you look at the isolated matchup between the two, and I'm getting kind of hyped, to be honest about it.
Yeah, no, it's a very exciting time because we know what T1 is capable of, but it does feel like Quantum Freaks have something big brewing. And like I said at the very beginning, this could be where the upset is brewing. We have seen Faker, for some reason, struggle in this matchup at level 1. Tristana can do some nasty things early on, but he also did die at level 1 against DK, which was unfortunate. And we do see that Bulldog does hit level 2 first and does get some extra damage in. And Guma and Carry are going to hit level 2 first. Down here in the bottom side, Leaper and Ando will respect.
Yeah, really a lot of respect coming out. Guma weaving in some Mystic shots onto Leaper, though, and has the health advantage right now. As that was a close call there. Might not have wanted to take that one. Nearly on the edge of that turret range. As this is going to be a push advantage for Guma right now. And at level 1, there's not much Leaper can do about it. Top side here, you got range advantage as the Gnar gets the Mega. Will be very annoying to deal with.
How has Zeus already played 48 games of Gnar? That's just an insane number. I mean, feels like only yesterday he was debuting. Obviously, it has been a little bit now, but man, that's a lot of games of that one champ.
It is crazy, and he's played so many of them, you know, when Nara was strong, but also oftentimes just as a counter pick to Cassante and stuff like that. And it wasn't a crutch for him. It was just a strong point. His owner is here, and Cuz is a little bit behind on this, so this is classic T1 blue side. Get bot side prio and take away the blue buff.
Whoa, Cuz gonna win on that trade, and now Bulldog's coming over, and you see the team on the bottom side trying to 2v2. Owner is gonna flash and Arctic Assault away. Arctic retreat there over the wall, but a very tense trade between the bottom lane, Bulldog coming over, and now Cuz just gonna come on over here and try to take the top scuttle and maybe stop the back of Faker.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you should. Yeah, okay, well.
He's going to stop it without wasting any mana.
Yeah, or much time. He nearly took a straight line directly to it.
Now, Zeri can get back to lane pretty quickly with her wall ride, but still going to lose out. It looks like maybe a minion or two here on the bottom lane. As Cuz will grab this scuttle. Faker pretty far up here, but I don't think will be punished by a flash twisted advance, right?
I mean, he might, but Valkyrie is pretty strong. I said he might, you know, not 100%.
You fish for him, you know, you go for it. You miss 100% of the twisted advance threatens that you don't walk towards.
Yes, thank you, Wayne Gretzky. Dudu is in kind of a rough spot. You mentioned the range versus melee. This does make him a prime dive target, and you see that ward. Owner might just be on the very edge of that one, but a lot of pings are coming down, and Cuz is trying to get up here to try to help him, but will he be on time is the real question, as trying to turn here on Owner. Owner just going to respect, as Cuz will show here on the vision, and they will not commit to the dive.
Yeah, I think somewhat ill-fated there. Free 6 for Zeus as Faker's going in.
He is going in, but Bulldog is going to get that jump in, and a fully stacked E for that explosion, and Faker is not going to win that trade and will be pushed away. Bulldog, once again, is going to punish Faker in this matchup.
Yeah, it's you know, Bulldog very confidently knowing he has the damage if he could stack that charge, and Faker once again pushed out. Now, it's not too significant because they're both just going to back and TP back into the lane, but one of those moments that gives you pause. As down here, another Zenith Blade.
Yeah, trying to go on this one. You see that Andal does a great job of peeling, immediately turning onto Keria and just kind of ignoring Guma, making sure that Keria can't stick to the Zeri.
Yeah, Leaper dodging that Mystic shot, very important as well. And we'll get a small level advantage here just briefly before these minions go down. As it feels like I'm holding my breath watching this lane down here, as Andal's been doing such a great job with instantly hitting these crash downs onto the engaging Leona, trading those aftershocks and allowing Leaper to just kind of peel back there. It's been really fun to watch.
And at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, it will come down to the, well, we do see a bit of a trade here in mid. Bulldog at level 6 was considering continuing on the trade. But, you know, outside of the Leona getting some big engages, I feel like they're not going to have too much pressure. I really like the call pickup from Leaper just to say, okay, we're not going to win in the lane, but I'll have this to kind of catch up and stay in parity with the Ezreal. Doesn't even go for the boots to dodge some Mystic shots or anything like that. Now, we do have a big rotation up here as they are trying to get on top of Bulldog, who will just push Faker away.
Andal also matching the roam, so there's no numbers advantage here for T1. And great moment there from Bulldog, no panic. Zeus has Mega, he's fine here.
Meanwhile, level 6 hit by Leaper. He's going in, but the Extendo Beam is going to miss. Leaper continuing, still up a level. He's not going to be able to get the kill, and he immediately does back off of the all-in. But Guma playing with some fire here.
Some extra bounces will give him the wave push here. And Guma will likely have to just back off entirely. Will be hitting level 6 shortly himself. Owner is going to be able to secure this grub. And that's pretty significant. Taking any sort of grubs away from Tristana always feels nice when Corki is not going to have the same sort of side lane pressure that this Tristana is later on. So keeping the numbers advantage on that one is big. With how much control they've had on the bottom side, no Drake to go over either. So Cuz kind of coming up empty on this one. Only the single grub, which is the important one for experience, but you know, with the changes to grubs, it's actually really important to get those.
This is Meganar, and dude is playing right into it. Not sure if he really wanted to take this, but now he's going to continue on the trade. Does go for the World Ender here on Zeus. Knows he doesn't have his ult, and now Andal is here. Just level 4 roaming up to the top lane. And Zeus I mean, he doesn't even have to flash. He just walks it off, and now Owner is here. And maybe trying to get the kill onto Dudu by himself. He does have full combo available. And I think he might just go for it. Zeus going to show once again. And Owner decides against it.
Notice there's no vision. Cuz has his ultimate as well. You know, if he was lurking around there, they could have actually ended up in a bad situation without Meganar. So thinking better of it there, ultimately, at the end of the day. Will be a little bit of lost time here for Owner, but no huge consequences from the play. But it was a potential opportunity there, not seized upon.
Yeah, I feel like if he just sent it, like sent caution to the wind and just goes in, I mean, Dudu does have flash, but as Sejuani, I think he just barely has enough damage to full combo him down.
Yeah, I mean, you get his flash no matter what, that's for sure.
Yeah. Maybe even Zeus could like hop over a minion and help with a boomerang or something, but
There's
better safe than sorry, as you mentioned.
They tried to sell that last play so hard as well, as Dudu going in when the Ondo was coming up. I think Zeus read that extremely well and then was a little bit, you know, suspicious about any more lurking members there of Kwangdong Freaks. As just see the continued bottom pressure, Guma is winning the matchup super hard. Has Keria just launching these in. Good dodge on the true shot. But it's just going to be more and more of Cuz's jungling disrupted. Starting off the Dragon.
Cuz is just getting full comboed here. There's not much he can do as first blood will go to Keria. But yeah, he's just clearing a ward and immediately gets his head taken off.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing Dragon. He feels fairly safe, but that's long range engage. They've got Solar Flare. You have Glacial Prison. And if you don't flash that, you are dead. Cuz on vision. And that is the end of the Maokai. That's the Dragon to go to T1. Faker starting to get a lot more control over this matchup here in mid as well. No longer the bullying Tristana. He's starting to take a huge CS advantage here. We'll grab a play that looks like here in mid off of this wave as well. Lots of money in T1's pockets off of just one passage of play. Almost 2,000 gold the advantage here.
Now Faker is getting all ins here. Looks like Valkyrie is down, but it's not a kill. It's just a denial of a back, and Bulldog can push very fast with the Tristana. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of gold going over to T1. They get that Hextech Drake. Also, the top lane is winning in a big way in terms of CS, so Zeus really enjoying his time. They are trying to collapse here when this Meganar does expire.
He's very aware of the possibility, but there's no wave here, so all he had to do was kill that last minion. He's safe, good to go. See if Bulldog can push a plate here. He should be able to. Faker doesn't have teleport still from that earlier back, and Keria's over here, but should be at least a plate going over to Bulldog in return. As you can see, Dudu is also pushing plate advantages topside, so some of that gold diff going to get worn away here a little bit as Kwangdong pick up some plates in top and in mid.
Yeah.
And I mean, this game is super close right now, but T1 just really playing that initial fight so well around the Dragon, setting a trap there for Cuz, putting pressure on, putting that deep vision in, using the bottom prio so incredibly well as Keria's coming over for a contest.
Yeah, they want to fight this. They want to punish potentially. The first grub does go over to Quantum Freaks, but now a trade in mid, 1v1. Faker looks like he won't win that one, and Quantum Freaks just going to back away. They say, okay, we got our second grub, and that's it. We don't want any more. We don't want to fight you right now. So that will be 4 grubs over to the side of T1. They will get that buff.
There's just too many T1 members there. Zeus having his ultimate back online. It's a really risky fight to take. Even though Faker was kind of cut off, he should have been able to rejoin with his team.
A chance here on the Bulldog as Faker is going in there. He is going to miss the big one and gets ulted away. Owner is going in. I mean, he's got vision, but that is a Tristana, so yeah. Not going to amount to much.
Maokai was not here. Had he been, that could have been very dangerous for Owner, but great game sense on that. Knows he has the space to try to threaten. Doesn't get Bulldog's flash, because as you mentioned, Tristana doesn't need that to get away from a Sejuani in that situation. Faker's just taking all these resources from his team, and Bulldog is getting pushed away repeatedly, and so he's, you know, edging out big advantages.
A chance now. If that missile hits, I mean, Bulldog is in kill range with just a couple of autos and maybe another missile. So just like this, I mean, Cuz is nearby, but it's a second plate over to Faker, a bigger CS advantage, and it seems like he has stabilized quite a bit here in mid.
Yeah, definitely. Bulldog will teleport back now, and this cannon wave will be eaten up by him, so he'll shore up some of that deficit. But the early control here by Owner has been so unreal. I mean, now, again, Leaper and Andal denied farm here.
He's going in. I mean, they want to take this fight. They say, yes, thank you very much. But Andal will be able to flash away. Leaper still chipping away. But at the end of the day, it's just Andal going away. And now that turret will go the way of T1.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole turret. It's all these plates going over. Cuz is coming over to try to salvage this play. But Leaper's already ulted.
Well, that ult did happen. They have some damage into Owner, but there's really just no follow-up, and that's why, I mean, I guess they saved the turret this way, and so they are going to push T1 back.
I mean, so some good value in saving that turret, no doubt, but at the end of the day, T1's still getting huge amounts of gold out of this play. Back up to 2,000 now flat. You know, last time I was rounding up, but this time it's the real 2K that they have the advantage here. Denying farm a little bit there from Leaper. And the turret does stand, which is important, but there's no cross map, unfortunately, for Kwangdong Freaks to be found because Cuz had to come down and salvage the play, or at least do what he could to try to. And the item value of these two players at the bottom side, you know, between a Trinity Force finished for Gumayusi and his stacking tier versus Leaper just having the Shiv, the Ezreal already with these buff stats is going to be feeling pretty good, but once you have that Triforce, it's really hard for Leaper to compete with him. He's outranged, of course, as well by those Mystic shots, so as long as Guma keeps hitting those and he has some pressure with Keria, really hard for Leaper to play that one out. The Shiv is going to help him wave clear and help him get the rest of his key items to give him some prio on the map, and then when they move to mid lane, as he is now. But Guma is already quite large in comparison in terms of the stats he's going to gain and how much power that's going to give Ezreal.
We're just farming mid. You see that Guma is going to come in here and harass Leaper quite a bit.
Look at that damage.
Owner just sticks around wherever the team needs him. He's farming pretty well. He's just always seemingly in the right place at the right time. And unfortunately, Cuz on the Maokai just hasn't had the same impact.
Oh, he certainly has not. And, you know, Faker had some difficulty early, but he's been given some resources. He's utilized them quite well. And so these leads are compounding. Top lane, 20 CS, 30 CS actually in this case now is, you know, gotten a bigger advantage here. And they put Bulldog into the side here. Zeus not going to teleport, it looks like, but he doesn't have more than 2 grubs here. Yes, Tristana can kill turrets very quickly, but imagine if they had won those grub exchanges earlier, how much more of a threat this would end up being.
Andal, that's not a safe place for you to back, my guy. And now he's being run down. He is going to get over to Bulldog here, but Solar Flare comes in and Andal's just dead. I mean, he knew it as now Cuz is coming over. They are trying to take this 2v2, but Keria is just so tanky and Bulldog is barely scratching the Leona at this point. Guma comes over, and it might just be a feast for him. He takes down the turret, does Bulldog, but now Cuz is on the run. We got a 2v1 up here in the bottom lane, as this is an Aatrox. Faker taking a lot of turret hits, and actually Dudu is going in for the kill once again, wants to get down someone, and has a big chance here. Owner does have to flash just to save his life.
He's coming over here. Does not decide to commit. It's just a little bit too slow on the play. Doesn't have a great wall to go and cut them off, so would have just wasted time. Decides to think better of it there. Zeus is going to be, after that play topside, able to come over here and equalize the turrets, take out this wave, and T1 are just winning everywhere. You're not supposed to be able to win on 2 sides of the map that hard at the same time. Now, the thought process here for Andal is correct in that he needs to shadow Bulldog so he can put that deeper pressure on, while Cuz is also topside trying to take the Herald. If you can do all of that at once, you know, it's huge value for you as a Bulldog.
Oh, this is rough. I mean, he is going to be able to jump away, and actually it's not rough at all. He's totally fine. I mean, he does get zoned off the turret and nearly kills Zeus, but they get the inner, and Bulldog is fine. He just backs away.
All right, what do they get in return? Without Cuz's ultimate here, I don't know if they get anything, to be honest with you, Valdez.
No. They saw Owner, who, once again, same level as Faker. He's level 11 Sejuani right now.
So Cuz is doing the Herald, so there's 2 good reasons for Andal to be here. Is he can help back Cuz up and help back up the Bulldog push here topside, maybe even potentially set a trap. What he didn't expect was that Keria would match him here, and the Zeus would set him up for success as Zeus gets his Mega Gnar. And then Keria just locking Bulldog down as Guma shows up to scoop up the damage. Gets the turret at least as a consolation prize. And then on the bottom side, at least Dudu was able to turn that one around. If he also dies while they're trying to make that play topside, things get even worse. But the story does not get better for Kwangdong, at least not yet. Infernal Soul is going to be so significant for both of these teams. So every single Dragon fight should be a brawl here between these two. But with Kwangdong Freaks' goal deficit, I wonder if they'll commit to this first one, because it might be game losing for them if they get crushed.
Yeah, it's very true, and they're going to pick up the Rift Heralds here. Mal Dudu is in a really rough spot. He's being CC'd under the turret, and he's just going to go down to mostly turret damage. Jake Sagra is now trying to trade this one back. Bulldog is around. Ondel is going to get a very nice Magnet Storm, trying to take out Zeus, and they will be able to get him, as Leaper also going to join the party. And meanwhile, you know, they might be able to take down Keria and this turret, but at the same time, mid is being pushed in a big way. Ondel also going to go down. As, yes, a couple of kills will go to Quantum Freaks, but look at your mid lane.
Yeah, inner is down, top inner is down, and I mean, that was down a long time ago. Faker's pushing on the inhibitor turret right now. Bulldog, it teleports in to get chunked to 1/3.
Owner going for the alley-oop. It's not gonna happen.
You go for those though. You know, you grab him if he messes it up.
It's a bit of extra damage to the turret, bit of extra pressure.
Yeah. So a small win for Kwangdong Freaks, but it's ultimately 1 step forward, 2 steps back, as T1 get way more value top and in mid. And with the death of Ondel as well, it stings all the more. Is in these situations, you can just see how confident Zeus is on this Gnar pick. Doesn't have to be a counter pick for Cassante. Doesn't have to be a matchup he wants. He's just like, no, it's a Gnar angle. For me, it's always a Gnar angle.
Yep.
His mechanics in this moment, fantastic. Now, they do end up getting outnumbered here, and he does get taken out. Big proactive roam over here for Bulldog, but it's not without a cost, as we talked about earlier. As Keria, he's really everywhere right now, trying to set up Guma again in live. Not going to lead to anything, but we've watched this play moments before. Not as good as Kwangdong wanted on that one.
Yeah. The thing is, as you mentioned, I mean, Owner is everywhere, Keria is everywhere. It's really difficult for Quantum Freaks to really find an angle at any point in this game. Dudu's taking a lot of damage now underneath his own turret, and yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Zeus picked this blind. He's like, no, Gnar's just good. I'm just going to play Gnar. Like,
it's always a Gnar angle.
Yeah, I like this pick. It's strong. That's it. That's my reasoning. And Owner, level 12, getting on in there. They are trying to trade this one back. Leaper does have a potential Zeri moment here. Owner getting pretty low. Leaper's getting in there. They take him out. And now Faker's in a bit of trouble. An angle for Kwangdong Freaks says, yes, Faker will get a kill, but it's 2 for 1. And Zeri gets one of those kills as well.
Take a screenshot of that moment right there for T1. I feel like I've seen that in every single T1 game they have played this season, with the exception of T1 D+ Game 2. Every single blue side game, they have this moment where they push up a little bit too deep into the blue buff area and get pushed back. We've seen it in every single matchup. Like, it's deja vu for me as Owner. He knows there's no turret in mid, wants to come over here. The problem is Zeri's damage output is so high at this point still. Even though you're really tanky, you're just way too far up. Both Keria and Owner don't have any support. So Faker's like, well, I'll come over here, I'll handle this. Zeus is late to rotate over, and it's a big disaster for T1. A small dent in their gold lead here goes over to Kwangdong Freaks, and Faker does pick up that kill. He's sitting on second item, IE anyways, so I'm not sure how much he's concerned about the loss of that play. But definitely an overextension. Definitely could have been cleaner, because now Kwangdong Freaks have a little bit more control of the map, and this next dragon spawns in 20 seconds. Let's see if they can force this into their favor.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a really nice angle. Even Cuz's angle of approach, like it just caught everyone. As now Zeus has Mega Gnar, and Dudu's like, uh-oh, I didn't want to take a fight with this guy. He blind picks Gnar in this meta. I can't mess with him, and he can't mess with this Gnar right now. As look at this trade. I mean, it is not very close, as the World Ender will be forced, and Zeus is running out of Mega Gnar, so he's just gonna respect that. And now Quantum Freaks are going to start this one up.
A lot of damage on this Tristana straight towards the Dragon. Good zoning here from Cuz, who still has his Nature's Grasp. Owner trying to get close.
They're just going to take it down. And T1 do not commit to that, as very nice buffer here from Bulldog. The Solar Flare not going to hit. And now the Nature's Grasp you mentioned, going to zone them away. But Quantum Freaks, it looks like they want to fight. I'm not sure about that one. But Keria going on in. It's such a back and forth trade. It's now Zeus on the flank, going to take him down. But look at Owner getting extremely low. Leaper's still alive. Owner is going to go down as Bulldog gets that kill. And now 4v3 here for Kwangdong Freaks, but Guma looking to take the 1v1 versus Bulldog. Faker coming over, making it unfair, and Bulldog is going to back away.
Zeus trying to come over here and maybe get into the kerfuffle again as well, but will be denied here. Kwangdong Freaks turning around a huge cheer erupts from their side of the arena as the rare Flicker Blade coming through here from Zeri, a pretty interesting item choice, but I think given the big beefy front line, it's going to be a lot more damage throughput. You know, we've seen a lot of Runin second here in this type of game, but not necessarily always going to be able to get value out of that in a situation like this. Great buffer from Bulldog, you mentioned. Look at them part like the Red Sea here for the Leona ultimate as the Solar Flare is dodged, and then Guma has to cleanse. Keria going back in here is the first question mark I think we have, as T1 feel like they're strong enough with Zeus on the flank, but the Zeri damage throughput, the Tristana damage throughput is just so strong at this point, and with Keria going in like that, Baker doesn't have as much of a front line. Zeus was a bit on the flank, and so Guangdong Freaks make a decisive call to go forward, and we'll get away with it on a knife's edge. T1 still ahead, but Guangdong Freaks striking back again. This team is so much better than they were in Spring Valdez.
Yeah, it's kind of insane where this team is at right now. Like, we were not overhyping these guys. This is prime for a potential upset, and here comes Andil once again. Just the scrappiness, the resilience of this team, as now Guma in a lot of trouble. Bulldog, he knows how strong he is, and look at that extra poke coming out from Leaper. And immediately, Guangdong Freaks have control of the Baron Pit, and they want to send it.
I mean, it's Tristana damage here. Zeri over here as well. Keria trying to push his vision in. Zeus does have teleport, but he's already Mega Gnar, so this is a little bit awkward for T1. Andil holding the choke.
They might have to give it up.
I think they do. Okay, he's going to TP in, but again, no Mega Gnar. Good true shot.
Yeah, they got to try to fight, but this Baron is going the way of Guangdong Freaks. They get the objective, and look at this. Owner getting low, but Dudu and Andil are isolated. Andil will sacrifice his life for the team. But at the end of the day, it's Guangdong Freaks picking up the Baron.
Oh man, Andil is dead, but he's got that look on his face. He knows he did a good thing.
Hashtag worth.
Hashtag worth. T1 rushing over to the bottom side of the map where there's no objective to take. And this was just a great call from Guangdong Freaks. So the Baron buff is going to give them so much more map control. They already got that last dragon in the fight. T1 were not able to contest that. They may be able to utilize this Baron buff to guarantee the prio they need to get a second Infernal Dragon here. Guys, this angle is so awkward. No Mega Gnar. The True Shot barrage is a lot of damage, but with the ult from Cuz, you just can't close the gap. Keria is trying to, but the ult from Cuz just buys enough time. The Nature's Grasp keeps them at bay. And when it looks like, okay, maybe there's an angle on the Dudu there, maybe we can start to turn this one around, Andil says, I'll take one for the team. 4 Baron buffs remain. And Guangdong Freaks, that 2,000 gold lead that T1 had early on, they pushed it up a little bit more, but it's kind of been around there, and that's not necessarily enough to win you these games if Guangdong get prio out of this. T1.
Got a couple of fights here. Once again, trying to go in onto Leaper, and Keria's alone. I mean, he's being chased down, and he might just die here. He doesn't have flash, but looks like Guangdong Freaks don't want to overchase. They do have the Baron buff still, and it looks like they want to get some value here in the mid lane. Can't blame them, as now Dudu trying to fight here against Zeus. This is a 1v1 for now, but we do have some members roaming on up to the top side. Zeus is buying a lot of time, though.
Yeah, he's
against the Baron buff.
Exactly, he's wasting Baron buff time here, but he's not going to get out with his life, I don't think.
Yeah.
Has the crush.
He is able to hop to the left, and the flash comes in from Cuz. They are going to shut it down for now, as now we got Bulldog. He's not able to buffer that one, but the ult comes out, and Bulldog is alive! Somehow, some way, and Owner can't believe it.
Oh man, I cannot believe the one buffer he doesn't hit. He still saves himself with a buster shot. They will get the turret anyways, but Zeus is pushed back. He's taken out topside. Baron buff, a lot of time lost. You can see it's actually just barely a positive here on the Red Bull Baron power play. 20 seconds until this dragon spawns. One of the faster groups.
That's a deny on the TP. And Andil, he does have to expend his flash for that. Dudu, he might not even get this turret right now. So, yeah, it looks like he will get it on the next wave.
Yeah,
but this is the entirety of their Baron buff power play, as you were mentioning. I mean, they get one inner turret.
I mean, this is actually insane. Let's watch this again. I want to see how he reacts.
점프 반응 못했다. 야, 이거 역할 안 돼. 이거
buffer. Reaction was slow, but I mean, you could see in his vision there how little time he had to react. He still almost got it. Now, Zeus up here loses Mega Gnar. Cuz goes through. Dudu locks him up with a sweet spot. Looks like maybe he's going to get out, but no. Cuz decides to use his Nature's Grasp here. Now, T1 did not get the dragon initially. Because of the teleport deny, they're not actually able to save Zeus, and then they're kind of awkwardly grouped there while Guangdong Freaks has prio, so they give it up. in live, which we missed, Guangdong Freaks actually secure the second dragon, and the lead for T1 is significantly diminished.
It definitely is. I mean, 2 Infernal Drakes. There have been some nerfs along the way, but still, like, that should be enough for 2,000 gold at this point in the game. Might even be a lead here for the Guangdong Freaks. Now, Bulldog, a lot of question mark pings. Faker just going to let him go. He is alone for now, as Nature's Grasp going to secure a red buff. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Might as well. I guess it's not that long of a cooldown at this point.
Yeah, really, you know, I mean, at this point, just they're safe than sorry, let's say. You know, forcing fights over these types of objectives could be disastrous. And T1, in this lull state, they don't have a very strong split-pushing champion. Like, Gnar can be very annoying to deal with on the side, but he's not so ahead that he... Oh, goodness, we're fishing for Bulldog here. He's not so ahead that he can just push this Aatrox out and start getting value. They already got their inner turret's worth of gold as well. There's like nothing for T1 to do on the map right now other than to fish for picks. So that's exactly what they're doing here. There's no inners for them to take. There's no Dragon. There's no Baron. There's Baron Vision, which they do have. As Guangdong Freaks will just take this lull between the objectives to sit back and farm. Leaper, the only person who has a gold lead here, with a lot of additional stats from the double Infernal. And if he gets the Infernal Soul, I mean, that is going to be huge. LDR done for him as well. He will chew through that Sejuani health bar.
4th item just picked up for him. He's got the BT. And, yeah, I mean, he's essentially the carry. Not to mention that Bulldog has been doing quite a lot in this game. And they have a pretty decently fed Aatrox. I mean, I think Zeus is pretty comparable, maybe even ahead at this point. As now it is Cuz caught in the top river, just trying to clear some vision. He is extremely tanky. There's no damage threats here for T1, and he just walks away.
Yeah, and he's got Warmogs too, so he channels it back. He's like, actually, I don't think I need that. And now he's just gonna head back over here. Leaper running towards T1. And I will say it's much easier to hit all of Leaper's damage. We talked about the late game 80 carries. He's level 18, Taguma's 16, and he just cues towards you. His carry is in trouble.
Yeah, he has to flash, and he doesn't have Solar Flare, and they're going to use this Nature's Grasp. They want to get any pick they can, and they'll take the Leona, sure.
Right before Baron spawns, T1 no vision control here whatsoever. Zeus has teleport, so he can come in here and try to fight with them. But look at Leaper just rip through this health bar of the Baron. Now, Nature's Grasp can't be used defensively here, but I just don't think T1 can get inside this pit. And they're just simply going to back away. They have no vision. There's no entry. Owner trying to clear, but it's just too late. It's gone, Valdez.
Yeah, Owner knows he's on vision, of course. He's just going to let that one go. And that's a second Baron over to Guangdong Freaks. And at this point in the game, you can say they are definitely in the lead. And they're looking to extend it from here. They're looking to push in mid.
Yeah, I mean, this is a massive lead for them. They still have that Tristana pushing power. Zeri pushes turrets pretty quickly as well. And the Baron once again links up with that Infernal Dragon. This time, the Soul. And T1 running out of options quickly here. And with a Zeri, with this build, she has a lot of lifesteal. She's very survivable. Like, it's hard to kill her. She does a lot of damage. It's much easier. She doesn't have to aim and land skills. She'll be technically, yes, but it's quite simple compared to Mystic shots. Ezreal's gone for a tanky build. You're sitting on 3 items to her 4. One of those items being a defensive item. Where's the poke really going to be here? Faker also does a lot of damage, but to get into range, it's so risky. You've got a Maokai to deal with. You've got an Aatrox to deal with. The Rel. It's hard for Faker to carry this game. It's hard for Guma to carry this game. I really think if T1 is going to wrestle this one back, it's going to have to be a huge Gnar from Zeus on the teleport flank angle. They don't have enough vision to set that up right now, though. As you can see around the Dragon Pit, only 2 wards to the left of the pit. No setup really for T1 to get Zeus into position to make a big play here. You could try to chain CC the targets together, but Zeri's so slippery. Tristana's so slippery with these buffers from Bulldog.
Timing of this as well. I mean, Zeus just ran out of Mega Gnar. He's not going to have it if they started it up right away. This Infernal Drake. It's obvious that T1 do want to fight over this one, but as you mentioned, there's just not a lot of good angles here.
Yeah, I mean, Guangdong Freaks in such a good position. Bulldog can soul this while Dudu holds the angle.
Yeah, they're just trying to zone Owner away here. Dudu's taking the brunt of the damage, but Owner is not going to get in the pit. It's Infernal Soul just given over to the Guangdong Freaks. They are so in favor of winning this game at this point.
I mean, the positioning was so fantastic for Dudu there. He's just denying them entry. I mean, the Mega Gnar was so close for Zeus. He has flashed Mega Gnar, but he just can't get in there. There's nothing he can do. There's no prio. There's no teleport angle.
Yeah, and Quantum's still at Baron.
Yeah.
So
And you can see the second the dragon's done, Bulldog's like, I'm over the wall. I got Infernal Soul. You
Yep.
guys think you could be anywhere near me? You can't.
they absolutely can't. This push is coming in from the bottom side. Still 40 seconds on this Red Bull Baron power play. They're looking to potentially push into this inhibitor. Bulldog is going to take quite a bit of damage, but you can see still they are looking to push into this one. No Sejuani ultimate. Dudu kind of in an awkward spot, but actually it's Zeus potentially in the awkward spot of the flash on the Gnar, and now Zeus is on the run. Dudu's just going to say, okay, I'm looking to push mid instead.
Yeah, I mean, if you can push Zeus out, you know, and push mid, that's exactly what you want. It's going to force this awkward timing for Zeus for East to back, but that's further map control. A red buff globally denied here. Again, T1 not going to be able to pick that one up. Baron expires. All they got was one inhibitor, but the biggest prize of all really is that Infernal Soul they picked up, as that is going to be relevant for the rest of the game. The Elder spawning in 5 minutes, maybe where we have our final fight if T1 can delay. But with this Tristana at level 18, it is scary times. I mean, Elixir picked up for Tudu as well. Like, this team, I feel like you could see it on their faces, Ando's face there as well. It's like, they're like, we're doing it. we were losing this game. It seemed unwinnable. We had a few clutch fights.
Yeah.
A few overextensions from T1, and like, we're doing it.
It's one of those games where everybody's like saying, okay, calm down, it's all right, we're in the lead, but just stay strong, keep playing your game. At least that's what the shot caller probably is saying at this point, just trying to keep everybody calm, because Quantum Freaks have not won a game against this team in a very long time.
Not a single game.
It's been 2-0s all the way down.
14 in a row, I believe it was. Some insane number, and closest they've ever been, it feels like.
Yeah, 7 series, 14 games. And now the poke is coming in. There is no Baron. Bulldog is not going to buffer that. Not sure if on purpose or not. He is totally safe regardless. And will just be able to life steal up eventually, assuming he's got the rune. And yeah, they're just pushing. Straight up pushing.
Dudu.
Meanwhile, T1 trying to get on top of an Aatrox, as Dudu will world ender and try to survive into this one. The Mega Gnar available here for Zeus, going to push him away, but the Sterix keeping him alive as the passive comes in, and Dudu's like, you're not here, you're stuck in here with me, and now Zeus has to run away, and that's a turret down in mid in the meanwhile.
Dudu has teleport. They might just end the game. Zeus on the run. He's going to get over the wall, but maybe Aatrox is more interested in hitting some Nexus turrets as they're going in.
They're looking to end this one. Andil is getting pretty excited, and now with the Zeri ultimate, there's no way that T1 can avoid the fight either. Guma is going to cleanse on the root, and that is a huge true shot barrage coming in, but now they're trying to turn onto Guma. Guma will go down, just stabbed by the Aatrox. As down will go the Tristana here. And potential for Faker and Zeus to try desperately, but it's not looking good. Quantum Freaks will take game number 1.
The streak is broken, and Quantum Freaks stand tall against T1. We saw some upset wins from this team early on. The streak was there, but there were naysayers. There were people saying this team had an easy strength of schedule. They're not strong enough. There were doubters like me who said T1 win this. It's only game 1, but they were behind nearly, I think, 4,000 gold at peak in this game, and they brought it back. Look how hyped CBMax is.
He gave Dudu a huge hug after that one.
This is a Quantum Freaks we haven't seen before, and that's what's I feel like I got a new top LCK team. I've been asking for that for a while, and it's my birthday tomorrow, Valdez.
Yeah.
And I gotta pick POG.
Good luck with that. I feel like you could pick pretty much anybody on the roster right now. T1, you know, staying calm. They've been in this position before, but probably not against this team. Definitely not against this team anytime recently. And they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure this out, especially because Quantum Freaks selected red side, too. That's kind of an unstandard start, and they get a win off of it, as Production liked Leaper after that one. Bulldog did do the most damage for his team. Zeus and Guma did a lot, but that was mostly into, you know, frontline for Guma and Aatrox for Zeus. So.
I mean, for me, it's between Bulldog and Andil. Bulldog absorbed so much pressure. Andil, fantastic game in the laning phase.
Absolutely. Well, this just got even more hype as Quantum Freaks are making this a real series. We'll see if they can do it with the 2-0 after the break. We'll have the space to break down this first game.
나 보이고 있어.
야 레오나 바텀
야
레오나 바텀. 야 타워. 나 괜찮아 듯.
타워 잡을래?
젤이 너무 쫄아 있는 것 같아 지금. 좀 앞에 젤 쫄아.
오케이. 야 미드 라인으로 오면 될 것 같아. 상황 세게 보자 그럼.
나 안 죽어.
야 미드.
레오나 노플.
야 끝냈을까 바우데 이러면.
야 밀쳐봐 밀쳐.
아 미드. 야 사, 우차 가자. 나 마우구 다이브 하자. 아 기다려봐. 타워 칠 때. 아 웨이브 지켜. 이번 웨이브에 뿌려 쏠게 그냥. 지금 뿌려. 아래 거부터. 이런 타워 칠 준비. 세주봐.
아야 박지마. 타워.
괜찮아. 타워 쳐.
일단 타워.
이제 한번 볼게. 오케이 이제 노동아.
타워. 야나 피었고.
나 가해. 야 오케이 세주 높을. 잡자.
야야 타워. 나왔어.
타워 쳐야 돼. 나이스.
Anymore. I mean, this is a big win over T1. We'll see if T1 can put an end to that. And they're going to start by banning Leaper Zeri.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's other ways to deal with the Zeri, but they're just going to give him the ultimate respect, and just going to take that away. Also, note we note this a lot through the last few years where Zeri has been extremely prevalent. Guma generally avoids the pick, even though he has a great win rate on it, and he looks very comfortable on it in terms of the eye test. The drafting kind of speaks otherwise, as I think that's part of why T1 just decided to toss that one out early here. Ashe taken away again. Skarner and Rumble, the big question marks left in this draft. Maybe because his Maokai gets a look as well. He had a huge impact at turning some of those critical moments, especially that big overextension in the jungle.
Yeah, Maokai is just so overwhelming. Like, in moments like that, you make a mistake, you're just dead. You're caught. He will cover the entire screen with his Nature's Grasp, and there's not much you can do about it except get caught. So really punishing pick, but they're going to ban away the Rumble instead and just threaten the Skarner first pick. And that's a very meta thing to do. You know, I think they were playing around with some interesting stuff in that first game, and now they're just saying, okay, we're playing the Skarner. That's it.
Tristana's banned. Looks like perhaps they were expecting Faker was thinking he was going to take that away. So they could go for a Corki first pick here. That would throw a wrench in the gears, but the Skarner is just, it's so powerful and warps games. It's so difficult to punish, and in the hands of a very strong top laner, it does feel incredibly difficult to deal with. But it has fallen off quite a bit in recent times in terms of the win rate, especially hasn't been as high as you would expect. As Vayne into this.
No. No reason to do this.
Darius into this, or just Talia. Block that one in. We'll get the Cassante first.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can play in the Skarner nowadays. It doesn't have to be Rumble. You can semi-handshake with Cassante. You can play TF. You can play different. You don't even have to pick top lane right now.
Oh, yeah.
You were mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just gone for a Talia lane, but looks like Corki is what they're going to prioritize now. They're going to push, instead of the Gnar, the Kalista lane up really fast here into this draft. Kalista, Nico. So very face up, but it was definitely going to be banned in the second phase here again for Kwangdong. But this is a very much T1 draft. You have really the only consistent players of this duo in T1. We saw like Execute play the Nico support with Kalista, but to mixed success. The Maokai we knew was coming. I mean, it's a Corki mid. It's another AD. You're going to pick the Maokai. It's been Cuz's best pick. And he's going to make an impact on it again here in this second game. And now the question becomes, what do you ban as T1? What bottom lane do you want to focus? Because there's very few lanes that win against the Kalista. You know, they might ban Varus, for example.
Yeah.
That kind of outranges it. The Ashe is already banned.
Maybe like force him onto a Jhin and then just really try to hard engage in lane and in team fights. They're going to take away the Yone from Faker. So that's going to be the first ban here from Kwangdong Freaks. And yeah, it is very interesting. Ezreal, you know, one that can just kind of not engage and not play the game with Kalista.
Yeah, it's a pick also that struggles into Kalista lanes, but he's just so strong right now, and his Q is so strong that you can kind of just outrange her and poke her, and you can do okay. You don't deal with the roots of the Nico because you can avoid those. I'd love to see an Azir ban here, to be honest with you, Valdez, just with how reliant Faker's been on this pick when the champion pool gets thinned out. He's definitely been very comfortable on it, and it does link up really well with the draft they have already and the engage they have, but will be a Nidalee ban instead here, which Owner is quite well known for.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I don't even think they need to play an AP jungler.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen a lot of comps even in the first game that just don't have too much AP damage. But we'll see what it does come down to. Nidalee considered very high tier. Another ban on Andal's Alistair.
Yeah. Okay, Taliyah being hovered here, which would push the Corki into the bottom lane, which has not looked great so far in the LCK, or Maokai support could be a possibility as well, which as we've seen mixed success on. So
yeah, I don't want to see that, Wolf.
I feel like for T1 though, you don't know for sure how this is all going to go down. You have a pretty good idea.
It's got to be Corki 80 carry, right? I think you're right from the first guess. I mean, there is. Oh, he's playing Ahri.
Oh boy,
he's doing it.
Can't wait to see what skin he's playing, Valdez. Ahri,
I wonder.
Ahri Vi, Ahri Viego, or Viego as we often joke, the two best jungle mid duos here. They have a lot of engage already with Nico.
I like the Viego.
Yeah, they have Nico, they have the Charm, they have Skarner. I don't think they need to index further into, you know, click on somebody with the Vi. I think they need something that's a little bit more follow-up damage once you get that pick, get that transform.
Yeah.
Now,
Resets.
Nautilus to get locked. It's going to be Corki 80 carry here in the bottom lane. And it'll be a new champion for Leaper as well.
You know, it could also be Taliyah 80 carry. I don't think they would actually do it in the LCK, and I don't know how that would do into Kalista Nico, but you know,
you're kind of
rocks.
Honestly, you're kind of cooking. Like I'm like, well, it's Kalista. Like I'm like, that's actually a pretty cool idea, Valdez.
Yeah.
Don't tell CV Max he's put that Taliyah on the bottom lane before in the grand finals against this very team right here. It didn't go so well. It was a little Pantheon action, but
you know, it's got some good synergy with the Nautilus. It's not gonna happen, guys.
No.
But,
so Mike. Oh! It is happening!
It's happening! Wait, it's happening!
The CV Max special!
It is happening!
It is happening!
It's actually happening!
Because I was going to say, if I was playing Corki into Kalista bottom lane, sounds so terrible.
Am I the prophet?
Well, we'll give it to CV Max, but at least you guys have the same
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But playing that matchup sounds horrible into Kalista, but playing Kalista into Taliyah bottom lane also sounds horrible. It sounds exciting.
It's got great synergy. You just clear the waves. You throw down rocks if they ever threaten an all-in.
So Leaper, by the way,
good.
Leaper is a former streamer, showed a lot of potential progress. CV Max kind of reached out, like, let's do some trials. I guarantee you, this is his wheelhouse. He's a streamer, man. He's tried every crazy bottom lane you could think of.
He's done it for the viewers before.
He's already shown us so many different... his champion pool is massive already, and I am looking forward to this one, Valdez.
I mean, how can you not? Quantum Freaks trying to make it too with a very interesting Taliyah bot pick alongside of that Nautilus, and Bulldog's just going on the Corki. You know, he says, okay, this is why this was picked. I'm just going to play this. And we'll see if it does work out for him as well. He does have to play into Ahri, which I think is just going to be the base skin, guys.
So we do have a small pause, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this game. So please...
Just a small one.
Give us your patience, but get the word out there. Get on Twitter. And G-Sun suggests, which I think is a good suggestion, that as to ask you guys, do you think Faker would use the skin? I mean, it's been quite the controversy across the world, but Faker,
I'm gonna say no.
His skin, he's known for not using it. I'm going to say myself as well, I think he's going base skin. I think he's not going to play it.
Yeah.
Let's find out if I'm right or wrong. You and I are on the same page
If you're
here.
Faker, you're not using the skin. But guys, we are resuming the game right now. The issue is cleared up, and we are ready to hop onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, here we go.
Skin, baby.
Guess what? A huge groan from the crowd. Who could have seen this coming? Oh, no.
Look, if Barrel wasn't going to use his, do we really think Faker was going to do it?
Hey, look, it's a broccoli.
He's laughing because Faker loves broccoli. It was in that Ignite Worlds opening, you know. It's a reference.
Yeah.
And Cassante thought that was very funny.
It was. Eat your broccoli. Lots of vitamins and minerals. It's very good for you.
Yes.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, Valdez. Taliyah bottom lane. The CV Max special dating back to 2019, I want to say. The SK Telecom Griffin finals. Taliyah Pantheon.
Yeah.
It did not work. They tried it again. It didn't work.
Yeah. The thing is you don't even have to, Taliyah Pantheon is kind of that's a lane that is very all in. And the Pantheon is there to go in, right? Nautilus can kind of do a bit of both where he's tanky enough to like take trades in the back away, and doesn't always go well if the Kallista's just hitting you and you're trying to run away. So in general, if they are going to go in, it will still be an all-in, but I feel like the Nautilus is a lot more reliable in general. But the Taliyah itself, I think, is just a great answer to this bottom lane. And again, it doesn't even have to fully interact. You could just clear waves and just say, okay, I'm just chilling. I'm just scaling. I'm just a Taliyah, and we have our 80 carry in mid. That's fine.
Yeah, and for Gumayusi, it's very annoying to interact with the rocks on the ground. So you have to manage your timings of when you want to look for, those martial poses forward and how you want to actually play around this Taliyah lane, because it can be very frustrating. It means Keria has a big role to play.
Oh boy.
As Viper lost to Teddy. LCK Spring Finals 2019. Ah!
Well, if you made it appear on our screens, why did you make it happen?
I'm sorry, everybody. We had to remember the history.
Also, they were playing that into Ezreal. Like, why? It makes so much more sense into Kalista. But that did happen in 2019, which was 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, I mean, Last Shadow was casting that finals, and he was explaining some of the reasons why Taliyah Pantheon bot lanes were kill lanes and why it was a strong pick in its own isolation back then. But in this draft, it's quite cool how it comes out in this way, because it's a flex pick. We talked about the flexibility of the draft, as Keria is doing a great job here, which is what he needs to be doing to keep this, Kalista able to keep the lane pushing. But in this case, they left the Kalista came in faster, right, before they get banned in the second phase, but they already had an answer prepared, which was really cool. Feels quite strong into the Kalista. You already have an AD mid, so damage profile-wise, this isn't going to hurt you too much. So I just really think it's quite an intelligent move. Now, that's all in theory. We haven't seen this just yet, but
you can see in the lane that Kalista, especially modern Kalista, is just going to poke you down as well. So that is one thing that Leaper is going to have to deal with. Like when you... Okay, might have to hold that thought as Bulldog is going way too far forward. The flash charm, the charm flash, it comes in and Bulldog's just dead. I mean, there's nothing, you cannot get away from that unless you flash first, and that is an excellent setup from Faker in mid.
Such a good RE player, sets it up, puts him into a basically impossible scenario. And like you said, I mean, we've seen some crazy good reaction time from Bulldog in the last game. Was caught out that one time, unable to buffer the Glacial Prison, but this one is just so tough, and Faker's so confident to pull this one out. Will be successful there with Owner. Very strong mid-jungle duo. Chain that CC together, high damage output. Bye-bye Corki. Bulldog will teleport back to lane. In terms of the CS, it's going to be fine here for Bulldog, but Faker getting some additional gold. Already has that core item set up here, so feeling really nice right now if you're Faker. The timing of that, too, is actually just too perfect.
Yeah, that's always the best feeling. You go back, you just buy a lost chapter. You're just in your elements, hydrated, feeling great about yourself. That's it's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, he's looking at the tier on the other side saying, well, that's going to take you a little while to stack. I've got my mana built in every level, baby. So, yeah, this is just fantastic. Now, look at this, too. Like, he knows that the way that Bulldog was walking, there's no way a minion could disrupt this play. Like, it's just 100%. If he presses E towards him and Bulldog doesn't insta-flash, it's a guaranteed kill with Viego there. Worst case scenario, Bulldog flashes, trade of flashes. So, really kind of checkmate there by Faker.
Absolutely. And I was saying earlier, modern Kalista definitely does a lot more poke damage. You get lethality, you get that early Dirk, you are putting in damage, and Taliyah doesn't really have a good way to trade against that. So early on, it is not going to feel great, and you're just going to try to be clearing waves, as Andal is going to hook a minion.
Well, if he hit Keria instead there, that could have been a huge play.
Yeah. Leaper had used his combo, but, definitely some follow-up could have come in with some extra rocks being thrown. And yeah, essentially you just want to try to stabilize. They are still going to have Prio down on the bottom side for T1. They will be able to take out this first Drake.
I'm really curious how this Taliyah is going to transition out of the lane, because in a lot of ways, okay, Bulldog is eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, Owner's just going in there and being annoying. Level 6 as well, threatening it.
Yeah, he had his ult, so he could both get out, but also continue to pressure the play. I was going to mention, I think Taliyah getting out of this lane,
That was close.
as another hook, going to go wide, is going to be quite interesting, because he's down on farm right now, and you know, unlike Taliyah jungle, it's not like he's just going to go clear a bunch of jungle camps and power farm up to his items. He's going to have to be in mid, and there's going to be under a lot of threats during that time in mid. And against this Kallisto, continue to push against the Nico flank, so if you lose map control, it's really hard for Leaper to kind of safely farm. If he uses his combo to try to clear the wave against this pushing Kalista, then he's vulnerable, could be collapsed on. And on the other hand, he's going to have Weaver's Wall in the mid lane in the late game, because that's where the AD carry gets to sit. So he'll have access to the entire map with his Weaver's Wall. So that could be quite interesting to see how that one plays out. Have a lot more global impact than a lot of AD carries would in that situation. So significantly behind in this lane, though, right now means I don't know how relevant this Taliyah will end up being if this continues.
I mean, at the end of the day, you do have an insanely bulky combination of champions that really love to play into dash and engage, and that's exactly what T1 have. You know, you've got Ari Diego, you've got Kalista Nico. Everybody's going to be running straight at you, and if you're facing not only Taliyah rocks on the ground, but also Nautilus, who can stop dives and who can easily peel. You've got Maokai, which is the biggest one. And then you've got Cassante for damage. No, jokes aside, they also have Corki as well. So you've got a really nice core. I just feel like they need to get through the laning phase. And that's where we're seeing the biggest issue. At this point, it's only 11 CS. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but certainly still Guma and Keria will enjoy a lane lead.
Yeah, I feel like the Unraveled Earth fallacy we've talked about it a lot, where it feels like, okay, their team has a lot of dashes, so that means Taliyah value goes way up. It compounds upon every dash, but there's so many dashes that she only has one Unraveled Earth. There's so many threats. You have to deal with the Ari that can just avoid it and go find a different angle, the Viego, the Heartbreaker right on top of you. You have Keria who can find another flank angle and come behind you and set up for an engage. That I do worry about Leaper's survivability.
Chance, level 6 here, and he tries to wall away. That's not going to work, buddy, but, you know, he didn't have many other options. No flash available, and now the stolen Taliyah going to do it to them like that. The double kill going over to Owner, who certainly knows how to play that one, and now the Impale comes in, but the all-out is here, and Zeus is in a lot of trouble. He's just dead. Solo kill, essentially, as Cuz will pick up an assist along the way, but dude is going to take him down.
All right, so at least they get something back here, Guangdong Freaks, but a huge win for T1 on the bottom side. It was kind of hodoring about it, and then it happened. It's really tough to deal with all the engage, right? I mean, Leaper has a control ward in the river, is playing somewhat respectfully in terms of positioning here, but then when Keria goes for the flash engage, he doesn't have flash. He puts rocks down. Doesn't matter. He's dead.
Yeah.
It's just so
flash over the rocks.
Yeah.
As you were mentioning, and he does that.
So it's just quite tricky, you know, in terms of how this Taliyah is going to impact later, is Cuz comes over here and sets up the final aspect of this.
That was perfect from Dudu. He had the 2-3 ready and primed right to press it when he got impaled, so that as he got impaled, the knockup was coming in, so it pushed him back towards Cuz. And if that didn't happen, you know, maybe he takes some turret shots, maybe Zeus does survive. So really, he got a big hug from CV Max, Dudu did, and it seems like Dudu is kind of back in form, from what we can tell, at least in this series.
His team has been historically pretty momentum-based, and they've got it right now. Not in this game, but in the series at least, and in this season. 3-0 right now. But it's going to take a comeback, I think, a second time in this one if they're going to win this game, because right now T1 have full control. I mean, look at the proxy from Zeus top side, knowing that Cuz is bottom of the map right now, doesn't have his ultimate either. Just coming around for even potentially a pinch here onto Bulldog. Oh man, there's just so much action here, so much potential for action. As Bulldog's like, oh my god, they're coming for me.
Poor Bulldog, he's just been pressured the entire game. Like, he must be so nervous the whole time. this game, last game. They're all just trying to dive the Tristana on the last one. Now they're trying to get on the Corki. It's not an enjoyable time.
So many threats. Figures like I get the Corki or I get the minion. Win-win.
Yeah, the minion all the way. This is going to be second Drake here for the side of T1.
See what soul it is. Cloud. Pretty good for Ari, I would say.
Yeah, very strong as the hook is going to come in. He will find all three of them in the knockup, but essentially it's just a disengage from the side of Quantum Freeze's bottom lane, and they will be able to deny the dive for now, but you see it brewing once again as Dudu and Cuz are up on the top side of the map. They know they don't have any support, so they just have to back away from this one.
Yeah, Grub's not really even feeling that powerful with this comp at the moment either, but at least they get something, but this is just so much value bottom side. Keria.
They just kind of wall for protection, and does work out. Leaper gets in, gets the wave, but still down 21 CS. And Owner is a massive carry with the amount of gold he has in his hands right now.
Yeah, he is huge. I mean, Guma Yusi is also getting to be quite powerful himself. Has the opportunity already, and 2 assists, a lot of plate gold. He's going to hit the squishy roster outside of the Cassante extremely hard with this lethality variant here.
Yeah,
Dudu?
I do wonder about Cassante as this game comes along. Who's going to deal with him? As the Impale's going to come in as Cuz is here, but this time Owner's here as well, and now the TP comes in. Zeus in a lot of trouble. He is so incredibly low, and the all-out is there for the Cassante. They are turning this on to Owner. The shutdown comes in, and that's 2 kills, maybe 3. Faker nearly goes down to the Corki, and Keria is here. Let's see what he can do as they know it's him. They will back away and respect that, Nico.
Yeah, I don't know if Keria could have really done anything there unless they got caught under turret, but he did have ult still available and flash, so a lot of respect being shown to that Nico as they do back away. But once again, Kwangdong Freak striking back in another skirmish topside, committing the double teleport, but winning out on the play. As T1 going to try to get a plate here in mid. It looks like they will be denied by Bulldog. You mentioned the Cassante. I mean, it's Malignant's first year for Ari. She can build Leandri's still and try to burn through that health bar, but it is going to hurt her burst potential on these squishy targets. As it looks good here initially for T1 with Owner coming up. He's super fed. Well, the double teleport, there's just a zero-sum game here, unfortunately, for T1 with these rocks on the ground.
Just don't get to move.
No, you can't do anything.
Once they're in the fight, they never get out. I mean, Faker only got out because he was the 3rd person that was on the outskirts of the fight, right? Like, the second Owner got in there, he was just dead. He didn't even bother to flash because, I mean, he gets rooted by Maokai once. He gets rooted by Maokai again. He ults. He gets, you know, there's rocks underneath him. Like, what are you going to do? It's just so annoying to play into this comp.
Yeah, it really is. There's just so much mobility denial, so much lockdown, you could almost say, is T1 are going to try to get this Herald. Cuz has flash but no smite, not going to contest this. Will stay in the area, avoid that Zenith, or not the Zenith Blade, the root there, but still, big win for T1. Opening that mid turret would be massive for them, as Duda said, who's not getting value out of Grubs? I'm getting some damage done.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, this Cassante, we talked about Owner, but the shutdown went to Cuz, so now he's going to finish his first item. The Maokai is in this game now, and the Cassante, like, he's just gonna do whatever he wants in this game. It feels like you get a big combo with like a charm and a Skarner, and he's just gonna live through it and then all out, as long as they're not too far behind. And then you just have so many other threats. So I am curious to see how they can stop Dudu, who is up nearly 1,000 gold on Zeus.
I mean, we call it Dusante for a reason. I wouldn't say it's as iconic as Zeus' Gnar we talked about in Game 1, but it is definitely one of his signature picks. His main pick that he's found so much success on. And he's super comfortable with it. You give him a lead like this, give him some gold, and especially into a draft, as you're kind of alluding to here, where there's not a lot of burn, there's no Leandris, there's a Kalista who's building lethality into how tanky he's going to end up being. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, you could say it's like Owner's job potentially, but Viego's not necessarily the first guy in who's burning and doing consistent damage. He's the reset guy, you know? They need 1 kill for him to really pop off, and yeah, if Owner didn't die and he had like 4 kills, then maybe he just gets too big to fail, and perhaps he burns down the Cassante. But I'm not so sure how it'll go if they can't get a first reset and Dudu just lives forever.
Yeah, and that's why this Cassante is so valuable here, because if all that CC is used on the Dudu and he just walks away with 10% health, then that's when the damage comes. So that's when Cuz is like, all right, I'm the tank now, and we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
Bulldog has to really, really be careful about not getting taken out, though, or caught, because if he's dead, there isn't really consistent auto-attack damage for Kwangdong Freaks on the other side. Yeah.
There was nobody else there, and I think Bulldog would have been fine, but man, he's just really been eating so many different things from so many angles. Now we have a TP coming in, as Kwangdong Freaks do want to fight this T1. They are not necessarily going to go for this dragon here. They need to back away, and that they will for now.
Cuz has ult again to just kind of keep them at bay, keep them at arm's length, so engaging here is going to be tricky for T1. It's a single Cloud Drake without Prio here. You might want to think twice about heavily committing. Keria still fishing for that angle.
Yeah. And you know, we talked a lot about Cassante. If T1 get an engage onto one of the squishies and then the Viego gets the reset there, then absolutely. They've got an angle for sure. But again,
positioning
there is
so
the
good.
Cassante problem.
Yeah, Cassante's is blocking them out here. Andal also watching the other flank angle. The split is so good, so it's hard for Keria to get a multi-man Pop Blossom here.
Yeah. I mean, the vision control around the Banana Brush and even north of it as well, just to really allow no angles.
Yeah,
Andal just waiting for Faker.
Exactly.
Oh, and the hook is going to come in. He's got an ult as well. Faker has to back away. Nico, Keria coming on in, but Cuz very tanky. Leaper totally fine. Keria's going to go down. Guma's in a ton of trouble. Kwangdong Freaks, they find the ankle, and they are absolutely decimating T1 on this dragon fight. It's a triple kill for Dusante. He is back.
Maybe he's the real AD carry in this team fight, Valdez. Cleaning them up. 4 kills for Dudu. The Cloud Drake goes over, but all of the gold lead is gone. 2,000 gold the lead now for Kwangdong Freaks, and that's before they take these turrets off the map. This is all Andal. Downloaded. Faker knew he would flank this angle, and the setup was perfect.
And you're engaging in a Maokai Talia.
Yeah, and then Dudu is just so tanky that this lethality Callista can't burn him down. He can push forward with impunity. And it's just front to back with a Cassante and a big, big Bulldog pick bottom side there after Andal gets the hook. And Kwangdong Freaks finally take a goal lead in this game, but the way they set that up, it was like a phalanx. There was no entry for T1. Yeah. And we called it before. We were like, I don't know, maybe T1 give us up. It's just a cloud. There's no way in. But T1
Probably
forced it, and they pay for it dearly.
Yeah. They absolutely do, and the Kwangdong Freaks, man, they are playing their hearts out. They are the real deal. They have not made, I feel like, a single mistake in the last 40 minutes of gameplay. It's kind of insane how clean they are playing. You can tell that the development that CV Max and the coaching staff has done over the summer has really stuck, and these guys have hit a new level.
There's Valdez, there's an element to this of, you know, T1 has, I don't want to say disrespected them, but they've gone to these scrappy fights, and I feel like have said to themselves, this is our territory. We win these. We win these crazy teleport fights. You want to make a scrappy battle happen topside? Oh, you think you can hold Dragon? We're so good at breaking through those. We have so many engage tools. But Kwangdong Freaks have just shut them down every time.
Look at the top diff
3,000.
right now. It started with the first trade. Like I said it when it was happening. He didn't even need Cuz. Like that could have been a solo kill. Obviously, Cuz helped it and made it a bit cleaner. But, okay, take a look at this. T1 looking to dive on a Bulldog, but Cuz is here.
With
and ult. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, Flash Valkyrie as well. Good luck. And we're back to exactly what, you know, we were talking about, the space was talking about, as there's no vision in here for Kwangdong, but I don't think they're going to start this. They have no control.
Yeah, Baker's got to be careful, man. He's playing Ahri, but the amount of hard lockdown that they have, I really respect CV Max for finding a way to put every single top-tier CC champion on the same team.
And
it's kind of insane.
The space was talking about it moments ago when Keria got caught, you know, before the Baron trying to clear vision. Do you find themselves in this position again that they've been in so few times, you know, over the last few years, except really exclusively against Gen G, sometimes against Hanwha, where they just don't have control over the map at all around these objectives and have to try to fight their way in. It almost feels like they're not used to it, but Quangdong Freaks are just locking every door and throwing away the key. There's no entrance. There's no path for this engage.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because we talk about this all the time when lower level teams are in the lead. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, how do we control vision? How do we control the Baron? How do we control the objective? T1 are like, how do we get control, you know?
And it's not like T1 are messing it up. It's just Quangdong are playing it so well, there's just not a huge angle. And we talked about all the threats on the Leaper, all the engage angles. But if you have vision everywhere and you control every choke point, you can't engage. It's just not possible. There's no secret trick. Like, that's what happened to T1 on that last fight in game 1.
Yeah.
That's what happened to them on the last Dragon, is Quangdong Freaks have shut every door. T1 can't just, like, you know, Hermione use the spell and open the key. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I think if T1 got a larger lead in the early to mid game, we would be seeing a very different game where T1 have control of vision. But now we're just seeing Cuz throw this into, you know, trying to smite it so he gets the root down, but it's not going to happen.
-1 Edge of Night.
Yeah. Proactive play. Okay, nice. But yeah, it doesn't quite work out. But yeah, I mean, the fact that T1 are behind now, it's so difficult because the turn off of Barons, off of objectives, and if Quangdong Freaks have vision control, how do you find an engage? How do you get Nico flanks? How do you go straight forward at this team? Now, if they pick Bulldog, that's going to help, but the TP is going to come in, and Zeus, that's Dudu, and it's the Talia, as now we got teleports coming in from T1. It's only Leaper who gets knocked up. He's going to be blown up. Bulldog goes down. Leaper goes down. T1, they find the angle. Cuz was not here at all. And they call the bluff of Quangdong. They say, okay, you want to fight? Let's fight. Dudu's going in 1v4. Not sure about that, as he's kind of immortal, but is he this immortal? That doesn't look like it. He will go down. Ando will as well. And Quangdong Freaks, they finally make the big mistake, and T1 are there to take it down.
All right, right before the Dragon spawns as well, it's going to be soul point for T1. But it's the same type of fight we saw on the top side of the map moments before, but this time T1's comp is a little bit more online, and the teleports to come in for Quangdong Freaks a little bit more disjointed, as Leaper isn't able to turn this one around. And Quangdong decide, okay, they call for Dudu. You might be able to just pop off your so tanky, and he has Jack Shows rolling, so his resistances are so insanely high. He wants to have the Keen moment from last season that everybody remembers.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen this time around. It all starts off with T1 kind of grouping around Bulldog here to look for a pick. Bulldog plays this really well, buys a bunch of space, and at this moment, if you pause it there, I'd be pretty scared for T1 because of what we saw happen last time. But notice the Leaper angle here. He teleports in, doesn't really set up great rocks to deny engage, and then instantly gets pop blossomed and blown up. So that's a ton of damage gone here. And Dudu, he could do a lot, but with this many members of T1 here and how much damage they have, he just gets focused down through the Jack Shows. After all the cooldowns are gone, he's like, wait, maybe with Andil? But no, not enough damage. Great layering of CC here from T1. First on the Leaper, Bulldog's down. That's the end of the fight. Now T1 will take the gold lead back, albeit slight.
Very slight. It's still anybody's game from here, I'd say, as the hook is going to sail wide. Faker's looking for the charm. He's going to find Andil. Andil does not have his aftershock, and he will go down. And Leaper, once again, rough spot for him as the Nico ult will come in. He has to flash it, barely gets away. Now Bulldog is left all alone, and the impale is massive. He finds the front line, takes down Bulldog, and Cuz is not looking too good either. He does have his flash, and he will utilize it to get away, but that's could be Baron, although there are some low health bars here for T1.
Prio's better than gold, Valdez, and when they get the Prio back, you can see how this comp is supposed to work. You can see how the CC is supposed to be layered, and Faker sets it all up.
Dudu's still full health.
He's full health.
T1 are respecting it.
But, I mean, for how long is the real question here, if he wants to actually get in and tussle with them. I don't think T1 can Baron off of this play, but I don't think Dudu can punish either. He wants to.
He's going in. I mean, there's a wall coming down. We got a potential knockback. It's not going to happen. Nice try, guys.
I mean, if Talia is there a little bit faster, maybe there's an angle. But look at this, like, Quangdong Freaks here trying to set up this play. Ando misses the hook, and he's just focused down. And when T1 are grouped like this, the CC lands, you get that pick. Look at Owner, he's popping off, he's getting these resets. Yeah, he gets taken pretty low because Bulldog is quite large at this moment in time. But eventually, you're just going to lose this fight without your front line here. Dudu shows up last to the play, and he's the only one that T1 can't deal with. If they CC him, you know, he lives through it, and then the damage comes away, but they CC the front line when he's not there, and then Viego gets the resets. It's pretty tough for Kwangdong Freaks, so Dudu needs to arrive timely. He does have his teleport now to the next fight.
Here we go again, trying to get caught in this choke is Kwangdong Freaks. They really want to secure vision in that bush. Fortunately for them, I think they just kind of had to rely on saplings at this point in time. And that is going to be cleared out by T1.
Dudu can't necessarily teleport in because Faker could just deny him unless he walks away from this solo lane. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be easy if the fight breaks out for him to just snap arrive. Because he's a lot of the gold here for Kwangdong Freaks. He's the front line they need so desperately to win these fights. And he does a lot of damage too.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, he's kind of the raid boss of Kwangdong Freaks right now. Everybody else is kind of just scraping by. Cuz is in a pretty good spot, but not nearly as good as Owner in terms of the jungle matchup. And Andal's behind on levels, as we did see pointed out by production, only still level 9. Kerry is about to hit level 11 at this point and has a arm guard, so definitely a very useful support. I mean, Nautilus, regardless of his level, can still full combo someone and do what he does and then just die, but
the thing that Kwangdong has to do, I think, Valdez, to get back into this game is to win a fight or at least win a trade. It doesn't even have to be kills. They need to get back quiet and start to be able to force objectives on their terms, be it a Dragon, which, by the way, this is soul for T1 if they take it, or trying to force a fight around Baron Vision. Trading Dragon for Baron here, I feel like won't be enough, as T1 will just get so much map control from that, from the fact they have Cloud Soul after the Baron expires. They can just weather the storm there. So let's see what they decide to do, because it's the lack of setup for Kwangdong Freaks when they don't have vision. Both these teams so reliant on having control of choke points, and right now it's T1's. Kwangdong Freaks trying to kind of slide their way into the entrance of the Dragon Pit here to change the story on that, but I mean, this is on a nice edge here, but T1 have all the cards at the moment. It's crazy how much both of these teams can do when the other team has to walk into the vision.
Faker was just trying to get enough gold here to get his death cap, and he is going to pick it up, so he has it for this fight. A very timely purchase on that one. Still not a lot of penetration to deal with the Cassante, but that's not his main target. That's his last target, let me just say. So he's going to be chunking some of those squishy guys on the back line. Is now trying to set up the engage here is Kwangdong Freaks. Dudu this time gonna just try to send it in, but now the wall comes in. Leaper in a rough spot. He is gonna get the stun onto Faker, who is going to get ulted here by the Nautilus, but now massive impale on this front line, and now Nico's got everybody locked up. Leaper goes down, and T1 looks like they finally find the angle. T1 have got this fight in their hands. Faker will go down, but he already did a lot of work. Dudu, he can't 1v4 them, and that should be Baron.
Yeah, and Faker just outplays Leaper. Yeah, he gets caught, but he's ahead. He just is a more valuable brawler, fighter, skirmisher than the Taliyah, who's so cooldown based, whereas Faker's doing a ton of damage, has his ult for some extra damage, has the mobility, has the Foxfire. He ends up killing Leaper on the top side of the fight as Dudu is getting taken out in the bottom part of the fight, front to back. Does Bulldog just not enough damage on this Corki, and a AP bottom lane isn't going to offer the same damage throughput, even though this Cassante is scaling up, has a ton of armor and resistances into the Kalista. As the Kalista gets more and more items and has more and more space, she's so valuable in these longer fights. As look at Faker here on the top side, keeping Leaper at bay. He can't join the fight, and where's the damage? Bulldog here avoids the engage, but he just can't break through even Zeus. Like, even though the Skarner is not that tanky, look at Guma. As soon as he gets past Dudu and can actually start hitting the squishy targets, they're gone. And his scaling feels so much more relevant than the Taliyah's in this game. He has Sorelda's now as well, so he has some way of dealing with this Cassante, but if he just rips through anyone else he interacts with even for a moment.
Yeah. He absolutely does. T1 now with the Baron, looking to pressure on the map. They've got the Skarner and bot, the rest of the team in mid. And Leaper here on the Taliyah. You know, we talked a lot about the draft. We talked about what would work for Kwangdong Freaks, and it was working for quite a while. But it feels like that time potentially is up. T1 now in massive control with Cloud Soul and Baron buff. Looking to get something going. Dudu is going to be spotted here in the mid lane, so Faker can easily just back away. Faker does not have Baron buff. Yeah, so just
like they secured it before he respawned there. Because he was taken out at the end of that last fight. He has ult, but no flash.
So try him to come in, and yeah, he's just going to utilize the ult, and he goes back in, Cuz has to be careful. If he gets rooted there, potential for a Cuz death, but he does have flash.
T1 playing so carefully here. And I think that the Kalista, the longer this game goes on, just becomes so large, so difficult to deal with. Even though, like, Kalista's not a scale. Okay.
Oh, we do have a Nico in some trouble as Keria, actually it's the Maokai who's in trouble. They immediately turn it back, and the damage you talked about is just insane. Even Dudu getting some knockups, it doesn't matter. You can't 1v5. Bulldog is in bot. They thought they caught Keria. Keria caught them.
I mean, I feel like Dudu's really putting the Showmaker copy pasta to the test, but it is not working in this particular case. This turret is just going to disappear before our eyes as a feeble Weaver's Wall tries to slow down the push. Bulldog gets a push bottom lane, not going to be able to secure that bounty, but T1 may be able to end off this push.
Oh yeah, trying to land that charm as well, just to get an extra pick and potentially get that push to end the game, as you were talking about. But yeah, it's just going to be this inhibitor in the top lane. Only 15 seconds left on the Red Bull Baron power play. And they got to try to set up for Elder here in about 2.5 minutes. Now, T1 are in a massive lead, but still a chance. The game is not over just yet.
Yeah, no, certainly not over, but the chances are very slim. As we watch this fight one more time, like, look at how much damage Viego and Kalista can do to any single target. As yes, Keria does get caught, quote unquote, but we have something happening in live. Someone's peeking at that for a second, but he gets caught, quote unquote, but they have enough follow-up damage here that, like, who follows up? Like, there's a Talia who can't get into range to flip anybody. The Cassante is very tanky, but against 4 people, not really, actually. At this stage in the game, with how fed all of the T1 members are, I mean, this is an 8-kill Viego.
Yeah. It's big Viego has been since he got that double kill down on the bottom side of the map.
He's almost got GA. He's very, very hard to deal with because he's constantly transforming in these fights and becoming all of the engaged threats that Kwang don't have as well.
Yeah.
And if you have that Cassante on the other side, like if he dies and then Viego becomes that Cassante, the Talia auto attacks heal him, actually.
Yeah, they do.
Hurt him.
He immediately hits full health, and everybody else on the enemy team dies. I mean, if Dudu goes down in the fight, realistically, the game is over. Like, either Quantum Freaks are running away or they're losing the game, as Keria is just floating around. Just, making a big deal here on the Rift, and he's getting some good vision into that backline and trying to set up here for the Elder, which is in a minute, but better to set that up early.
GA ready for owner for this fight, can really push the edge of what is possible with Viego.
Push the limits of science.
Because, I mean, to get Cuz into position, no flash, by the way, to try to secure this smite, you have to win the fight. There is no flip, I think, for T1. I think T1 even interested in starting this Elder unless they have 110% full control. And look at what they're gaining right now in mid, in bottom. As Bulldog's top push feels irrelevant, he's going to teleport to this inner turret to try to join for the neutral fight. This is not Poke Corky. This ain't spring season, Valdez.
Nope. Times have changed. Hook misses. And that was a GA Viego, and now we're just engaging on a Bulldog, and it's Keria actually has to get ulted back, but look at this Impale onto that backline. Leaper once again in trouble. He will go down, but Keria potentially as well lands that root, and in goes Bulldog, and he's immediately just going to get blown up. This game seems to be done and dusted as Dudu, desperate, very desperate, will take down Guma, and immediately just gets thrown into the wall. He's going to buy a lot of time here, but eventually T1 are just going to run him down. As, okay, double knock up here, but that Viego is just too massive, right? Right? What is this champ, man? Okay. Down he goes, and that's the end of Cassante.
All right, down he goes. T1 look to end a closer fight, I think, than it really looked like, with Keria getting caught there. Guma being pushed down to like 20% health. No opportunity to offer damage in the fight, but Faker is big enough to pick up the pieces, and Leaper goes down instantly. And without Bulldog, there is no damage. Cassante tried as he might, but Dudu can't get it done in the end. T1 are going to bring us to 3. What a series we have on our hands now, Valdez, as Quantum Freaks will once again have side selection. Perhaps that means we stay on red side for them.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe we just get a third of this amazing series, same sides, but the experiment was not a success. The Talia looked okay in those top side skirmishes, looked okay when we were fighting scrappy fights, but when it came to straight up 5v5s later on, when they didn't have map control, it just felt invisible.
Yeah. The Quantum Freaks were able to hold on and control, though. Definitely could have been an experiment gone right. It didn't quite. I mean, we were getting really excited about it. We were talking about all the theory and what could happen, and then eventually T1 just took a couple of good fights. Bulldog got caught that one time and started a full committal from the rest of the team, and essentially one by one the dominoes fell, and T1's pick potential and damage was just too much to deal with. Didn't matter how many disengaged threats you had. And so we get a third game. Like you said, it feels like the best of both worlds. We got to see this game really play itself out in its entirety. Quantum Freaks put up a nice fight, but T1 were the better team in game 2.
I would have been, a little bit disappointed if the game was a complete wash and the play didn't work at all, but there were some really good moments, and T1 kind of got baited in some of those skirmishes, so they showed why it can work, but ultimately it didn't.
Yeah, well, we did get the Faker Ari in that last game, but no Faker skin in that game. We'll see about game number 3, guys, as we'll take a break and have the space. We'll be right back.
나 노틸 보는 중이다, 형들. 나 몰래 위로 도는 중. 오케이. 이거 사선만 빼고 할게. 보여줘. 그래 빠졌어. 볼만한 거, 볼만 봐줘. 코르키. 그렇게 봐달래. 코르키. 나 궁, 칼리. 야, 살려. 아래 좋아.
위에는 별로 안 좋아.
천천히. 위에 봐줘. 아래 개 좋아. 코르키 묶였어. 상태 맞아, 상태. 나머지.
위에는 안 돼.
위에 다 잡았어. 이겼어. 야, 이거 칼리 좀. 미드가 끝나면 프리스. 자꾸 끝나면 자꾸. 아이 버그. 내가 할게. 나 미드 하자. 나머지 미드. 나 미드 할게. 라클 좀 해줘라. 나 라클 해야겠다. 코르키 풀 썼어?
우리 철권 좀 느리긴 해.
우리 아리 테리 써가지고 타면 끝날만 밀만한 것 같은데?
3. A lot of big picks to consider. The Kalista that went through last time, they did not have the answer they thought. Great point by Ox, but just how Kalista's played now with the poke. You were talking about it in the cast as well. It's hard to get through that laning phase. Would have been just as hard with Corki, I'd say. Yeah. So, did opt into that one as the Senna is gone again because no Maokai. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was leaning to.
You didn't have to play Talia. But yeah, it's a new game. It's a fresh start. It's a best of 1. Now that both teams have taken 1 win. Don't worry, no best of 1s in the LCK. For now. Ash also going to be banned. Yeah, no, sorry, I don't know. We'll see.
We literally don't know, but...
Yeah, Cassante also going to be banned away. And I like that. That's a good call. Taking them off of comfort here.
Yeah, I mean, K'Sante gone, Cuz has made such a big impact on this Maokai and all the games he's played it. I believe 4 so far this season. Even on the loss he took last game. I mean, that skirmish topside, the plays he made to get Dudu super far ahead, really high impact. Tristana is banned away from Bulldog.
Look at those. Look at those 3 bans.
Yeah.
It's
like
just the 3 champs that have really popped off in the series.
And
Quantum Freaks.
All 3 bans for Quantum Freaks are focused towards the bottom side of the map. The Rumble does go through, and Dudu will pick that one up. So Skarner Rumble trade has been pretty good for Rumble so far. We've seen some mistakes. We've seen some high proactivity from junglers where the Skarner can flash onto the Rumble and get a kill, punish the Rumble. But first, the focus will be on that coveted Corki pick, the Tristana being gone.
Definitely Garen here.
Shen.
No, Cho'Gath. Yeah, that makes it's Sejuani.
Sejuani opens up the possibility that Yone potentially here in 3rd spot, depending on what they want to grab here second. As Zeus could get the pick here, and then the Yone could go for Faker on the 3rd position, but it looks like going to go for Corki instead, and I think that goes to Bulldog 100% if they don't lock it now, so that would be the trade-off, but they could go the Yone. Sejuani synergy is really strong, but what does Bulldog play here? I mean, Bulldog's a pretty good Taliyah player. Doesn't have to be in the jungle, does not have to be in the bottom lane.
You've already got the Rumble too, so I feel like nowadays a lot of teams shy away from building too much AP. But, you know, Tristana's gone, Corki's gone. Do you really want to play Yone without a Sejuani? You don't even have Maokai. What will the choice be?
Vi?
Taliyah Vi?
Taliyah Vi, Ahri, both strong opportunities here. As I like the Taliyah more for Bulldog because he's just shown a lot of games on it. He has a lot of experience on this pick. Not that he hasn't played Ahri games, but just hasn't been as impressive. As those are really the big ones here. I mean, I don't think you play Azir in this comp, and there's no... They're just going to prioritize the Kai'Sa instead. But this gives the opportunity for T1 to ban the best Vi mids against you. So you're going to lose that for the Kai'Sa here.
Kai'Sa could also go mid.
Well,
I don't know if you want to play
is
that.
just throwing darts to the board now, trying to be able to profit again. I see.
It's there in the middle where Bulldog is, so obviously it has to be mid, right?
But you know Sejuani could go top.
Like the Vi is in the jungle spot, right? Skarner was totally ignored until now, and I mean, it makes sense. The Rumble was picked, and Skarner wasn't banned, and they just save it here for the 3rd pick. As, of course...
This position for T1 feels very strong because there's not a clear-cut answer for the bottom lane for what they want to pick. So guess what? Taliyah's gone. Ahri are likely to be banned away as well. And
Joke's on them, it's Kai'Sa.
it's not Kai'Sa mid Valdez. And for Quantum Freaks, you can ban some strong bottom lanes here that are kind of protect this Kai'Sa pick a little bit. Like the Kallista's already gone, the Lucian is gone. They might ban the Varus next. But Kai'Sa's pretty strong on the Zeri. But I feel like T1 have so many different picks they can play bottom here and feel pretty good at avoiding this setup right now with the Vi setting up Equalizer and then the Kai'Sa follow-up. Even the Ezreal feels decent here. Nautilus is banned. And the question becomes now, okay, Renata taken away. It's an interesting one. Very strong into Vi, obviously. And
yeah, you could go like Varus Renata, you know. And if you're already indexing into a lot of engage, you can just take that one off the board. So now it's really up to Keria, I guess. The zoom in onto him here in his 500th game. Guma isn't saying much. So probably picking support. Oh, no, although the nod comes in and it's Zeri.
I mean, the Nautilus ban did kind of make it look like that's the direction we're heading, but it has historically been pretty good for Kai'Sa so far in the few times we've seen it because she can duel the Zeri in an isolated matchup. Now, they're going to look to take the Yone with that Taliyah gone, potentially here for Bulldog. And it is very strong in this setup. A lot of follow-up to this Vi ultimate. And you just pile onto a single target. As long as it's not the K'Sante, you're feeling pretty good about your chances. Now, if you pick Rel here, which is extremely good at setting this up, they have the Alistar in response already. I like the Leona more as a result. Just continue onto that single target setup rather than trying to set up the big Wombo combo.
Yeah.
The follow-up is so much easier.
You do have some pretty insane single target burn, even if it is Skarner or Sejuani. Like, you can keep them in place for a good 4 to 6 seconds. You get an equalizer on top of that.
I like the Rakan a lot, actually, when you consider what he could do to turn fights back around. But the Alistar is just, it's so tried and true. He attack, but he also defend.
Also protect.
Also protect. And I look at this draft for Kwangdong Freaks, and it's extremely binary. It's very much a buy ult someone, there's a equalizer on top of that, a Yone ult tries to get on top of that, Kai'Sa ults in, you've got Solar Flare, and even a Skarner will die if there's no peel, if there's no Alistar there to protect him when that combo comes through. On the other hand, if that engage falls by the wayside, or if we talked about, like we talked about in Game 2 a lot, if you lose Prio and you can't set up that type of engage, and the Yone is trying to look for a flank angle, and you're trying to catch a Zeri, you're not going to catch that Zeri.
That said, if you win today, Kwangdong, I'm booking a hotel in Gyeongju, which is where the finals are. Or maybe it might not have been Kwangdong, but regardless, for one team who wins,
hey, I mean, if
they
you can
be
beat,
saying, hey, you're making finals.
yeah, if you
do
can beat
this.
T1, I mean, with how the tier list went in spring, I guess that means you're going. I think we're a bit early to be deciding things like that, but Kwangdong Freaks could again make history. The first win in 7 series against T1 if they are able to make this lockdown.
In 8, right? This is their 8th.
The 8th win in a row, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. A lot of threats here on the side of T1 as well, as we are ready to hop on the rip for game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we go. Game 3. And it begins here. We've seen already today some Yone into Corki a couple times. This will be our 3rd time. And first time, we did see that the Yone was all right for Karis. He was able to stick around. Zeka wasn't able to punish him too much. But game 2 was a different story. He got harassed out. He got camped by Peanut. It was just rough. So I am curious to see how Bulldog's Yone is going to do in the early stages of this game, because we know what it can do as the game comes along, just in terms of team fight setup and pick potential, but can have a rough time.
Same setup with owner on the Sejuani, like Peanut was on the Sejuani in that game you just mentioned, game 2 of the previous series. Karis got camped, so Ward's going to go down here. Lots of pings.
Ward friends!
They're buddies.
This is the same Ward.
Yep, same skin.
Hide on bush.
Hide on bush.
There you go.
Well, let's see how this level 1 goes. Bulldog not going to eat too much of that shred, but will eat some damage.
Faker's eating a lot from the minions. It's actually an even trade. But it is a push in, and eventually second Gatling gun comes out.
Yeah, with the Yone in this matchup, you kind of just have to try to use your W to trade with the shield. And that's kind of all you can do in the first few levels, as we saw. Once you get that online, he has the Q, of course, here. Ooh, whiff that one.
That's rough. And you see Bulldog scratches his nose, telltale sign. He's unhappy.
I think it's the clearest sign is his health bar, Valdez. I guess the that's the one
might
for
be
me.
part of it.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Oh, level 2. Ondil's got a nice angle here. This is Zeri, so yeah, we got some zoom-ins, but oh yeah, this is the follow-up. This is what happens. Bulldog does not want to TP back to lane this early.
Yeah, he's used his W, but he doesn't want to, but he very well may have to.
Dudu's taking some bad trades up here too, and Dudu's getting pretty low. No, not gonna hit. Dudu does walk to the side.
Yeah, you can't channel that Flame Spitter at Zeus while also walking away, unfortunately. So, okay, some fancy moves here to secure the cannon from Bulldog, but
he still takes all the harass.
Still +1 though.
Yeah. For that minion. Not for the other ones.
No, not for that one, not for that one.
Yeah, this is
Look
about
at the CS.
to be 25 to, I'm going to say 14. Zondil's going in, and ooh, the double knockup comes in. We see that Guma and Karya will win that trade heavily.
if it was the previous one where Keria had already used the knockup and Guma was over to the side, had Leaper hit his Void Seeker and he went in on his Zenith Blade there, might have been able to get a cleanse out of Guma and some additional damage there, but not this time, sadly. Feeling the pressure as Bulldog is probably trying his best to keep it inside and not tell his team how the lane is going, not complain. But it is not a fun time for him, and the game is already 100 gold the lead here for T1 off of the CS advantage basically alone, and at least Bulldog can keep this here towards his turret.
Yeah, it's in a good spot for now. I mean, Faker just TP back so he doesn't miss anything. It's not a freeze or anything like that, but it's definitely a good position for Bulldog, at least just to farm. Faker is probably going to have Owner nearby, has Valkyrie and Flash available. And the push is coming in down on the bottom side. It does look like Guma and Keria are having a fine time down there.
Yeah, and this is, what both junglers know where they're headed here, going to bottom side. This means that Dudu can continue to put the pressure on here after the teleport trade. Once you get a few levels on this Rumble, you can start to actually get the real aggressive push going and start to really trade with Zeus, because before you have all your abilities, it's hard to manage your heat. We've talked about this a few times. And so Zeus now having to farm under turret. Dark Seal picked up for him versus just the tier coming in for Zeus, so it's not going to give him much value in this lane at all for the moment. So at least they're getting some pressure up on the top side. No commitment by either jungler to the bottom side as Guma and Keria push that in. And Jonas Strong is just...
Yeah. He and I are on the same wavelength, man. We're like, we got to look into this lane because every other lane should just be...
normal.
Pretty normal. I mean, you kind of know how that top lane's going to go. Skarner's never going to be in a position to actually die because, well, he's overpowered. But the the bottom lane as well, I mean, it could have some action if we have some trades, and we haven't taken a look at that. But besides that...
What about a Rumble? Is the Rumble in a position to die? Or is it also OP Valdez?
Not quite as OP as the Skarner.
How about that Vision Ward that... revealed.
Vision Ward is also very strong.
It's quite strong, keeping the Sejuani at bay. So I guess
Very
it's just way too OP.
Yeah. True.
Cuz is here, and Owner no longer is. There is a ward.
Dudu's level 5. Very awkward feeling. He is going to hit level 6, of course. But Cuz spotted junglers hanging around the grubs.
Yeah, and... a lot of respect being shown here for Dudu now, as they're not going to commit to that play. Bulldog getting perma pushed in, so no prio to actually come over and contest grubs. Scuttle is going to go the way of Owner here. So a lot of vision control here on top side. And Cuz doesn't have level 6 yet, so really hard to make a proactive play on the Zeri. So just going to settle for the Dragon, knowing that Sejuani is top side. Guma backed anyways. Pretty normal timing for that. Did not pick up a cull. We've seen that a lot today. Keria just sniffing this out as Faker is coming down.
Yeah, they saw that he went into the pit on that ward there right over the pit wall, and they're actually going to stop them from doing the Dragon for now, especially because Owner now is able to roam on down. He only got one grub, and they say thank you for the leash.
Yeah, and that's enough to get Owner 6 as well, so there's just no way feasibly Kwangdong Freeze can contest this, as Faker winning this lane has just been so massive for every small thing that's happening on the map, both top side and bottom. And unfortunately for Bulldog, he is just sitting on a dagger and a dream. The dream, not being the refillable pot that's helping him sustain through some of this lane.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I mean, he picks up Berserker's Greaves now, so...
So now the dagger's in the boot, and he's got another one.
Yeah. So it's like, we did see Karis get camped, right? This time he's not getting camped by Owner, but we're in a position to where he may be soon. He may be soon with the amount of control T1 has at this point. I mean, Owner can definitely start fishing for some Glacial Prisons in there, looking for Flash and stuff like that, because while Yone is quite mobile, it is difficult to lock him down. If the angle is good, the damage is there from Faker, you can at least force him out of the lane and deny more CS. As there's not a lot of proactive plays that T1 can make for their Owner right now otherwise, so we'll see what he does decide to do here. As it's kind of a small, 400 gold lead here for T1, but you can really feel how much control, how much pressure they have in 2 lanes. And even on top side, Zeus is pushing this one back. Still significantly down in farm, but he has Prio, so it's hard to be proactive now as Cuz even when he hits level 6.
Yeah. It's kind of been the story for Cuz in most of this series as well. He was playing 2 games of Maokai, so essentially he was just farming up, and Sejuani was holding control of the map. Owner was doing a really good job of that, but yeah, we haven't really seen Cuz have an opportunity to utilize the buy in Game 3, so definitely a different feel on a different champ that you don't quite want to feel in this position. Now Bulldog is going to come on over here and say, please give me a grub, and he won't get any. Just gonna help him leash that, and yeah, very different from solo queue.
No, yeah.
Here comes Leaper. He does know that Keria is here and that Kuma is also here, so we'll play this one safe.
Bulldog just doing what he can. I mean, this isn't the worst CS score we've seen today in this matchup, and you know, Faker's just making it very annoying for him, and we're just constantly looking at him. His mom's sitting right over there, man. Jonas Strong, it's not even...
Had to do it to Bull Mom.
Okay.
It's pretty rough.
Owner,
look at the vision in
yeah.
enemy jungle. I mean, that's just really impressive as well.
That's his way of saying, I know when I can fish for a glacial prison over there.
It's like, I know that you can't do anything about this.
Yes, and I know exactly where you are at all times, so I can make a play bottom side if I want to. Cuz he's going to have to clear those, and luckily he will identify this early and clear those out, so ends up just being kind of a bunch of gold down the drain here for T1, but still gives him some peace of mind, some control of the river as well, as you can see to the right side of where Cuz is right now, 3 wards there, and so they can continue to put that pressure on. Bulldog, there's no reprieve, okay? Like, look at where Keria is.
I mean, the only time you're really going to have a chance is...
Here he comes!
Yeah, well, he's not going to go out on that once he sees the cow. But yeah, you're only going to have a chance when both Owner and Keria are not here and Cuz has an angle. But they see him the whole way, and there is no angle. So, yeah, just being pushed under turret. It's a slow and steady suffocation. Also, Guma going to pick up a plate down here, having an opportunity to get some extra gold for himself.
This is what T1, I feel, have been best at when they've been on top with this roster. Whether on top means being top 2 or top 1, because they've been both, right? But when they've been on top, it's been Faker controlling mid and then playing around it.
Oh, yeah, you're getting flashed, you're getting impaled, and guess what? The jungler's here. Oh, nice flash, though. A potential turn as Dudu trying to burn down Zeus, nearly able to do it as the flail gonna miss, and now the Vine coming in, and the turn, but no, the Vine gets knocked into the wall, and he just leaves him. First blood will go over to Cuz as he somehow is able to get something out of that play.
Crazy that Cuz makes that work with the flash. Good reaction there. But a very, very tough situation on the top side of the map. Fantastic equalizer from Dudu to prevent the follow-up, and a little bit of shuffle there from T1 as they weren't 100% sure whether they want to continue further on the play or not. Skarner, very tanky, but Cuz will get the first kill. And it's basically an even trade there on the top side. Gold even as well as Keria's going in.
Yeah, level 6, and they're just trying to turn this immediately, but the TP is coming in, and now Andil's kind of left out to dry, and so is Leaper. He's not going to win the 1v1 versus Faker. Here comes Cuz, maybe trying to turn this one around, but Andil is just so dead. Oh, but the turn on a Faker, and now a TP coming in, but Cuz is 1v3, and the TP is denied, and Cuz will also bite the dust. Bulldog might also himself as he's taking plates against the Sejuani. And he's actually going to ult out of there. Owner letting that happen. Definitely not the best, but Bulldog will somehow survive.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised Bulldog went for that old angle. I think even Owner was a little bit thrown off by it because it would have otherwise been pretty easy to block. And that would have been the end of Bulldog there. So he gets a plate, it looks like, in mid lane while this is all happening. But it felt like in the bottom side play, Kwangdong Freaks just hard committed to losing more, because when that play happened, it was pretty doomed, pretty donezo when Faker shows up. Cuz comes down there as well, so we're going to go all the way back to this.
The timing of the...
There's the flash as Zeus, or rather Owner, completely whiffs the Glacial Prison, and that's the big thing, because the flash avoids it, he's not expecting that angle, and then over here, Cuz comes in, and then watch the flash, guaranteeing that last auto.
I wonder about the boots of the Rumble. Seems like he got out of that one pretty quick, but yeah, this is the bottom play.
Yeah, so Leaper here is just destroyed by Faker. And at this point, like, Cuz comes over here, but the question is why?
I mean, Bulldog's TPing under a turret. That's why he was so low, because Owner just denies the TP.
And
so
it's just,
yeah,
it's there's that. So he gets the plate at least and is able to ult out. So I mean, it's not 100% bad, but it's about 97.9% bad here for Kwangdong Freaks.
Yeah, Owner moves out of that. I mean,
yeah, that was kind of bizarre.
You just block that, right? Not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, sometimes you get lucky. Bulldog got lucky there. But he did not get lucky deciding to TP at that location. And that, so now he's down TP. You know, they ended up losing everything bottom side. T1 take a 2,000 gold lead. It's 2 kills for the Corki, who already was controlling lane, is already up 20 CS. And it doesn't get much worse than this.
And now you see a 4v4. The Prison is going to sail wide. And T1 immediately turned back to the Rift Herald. Do Quantum Freaks want to fight now? Equalizer available. Might just throw it in. Are they going to? The Smite will go the way of Owner. And now a 4v4 just brewing here, but Quantum Freaks, even with the Glacial Prison down, they're not going to commit.
Yeah, really indecisive call there, because if you're going to group for it, you got to at least try to set something up, but they weren't confident, so they group and get nothing. So couldn't make a cross map. Plates are down anyways. Not like they would have been able to get something big, but I'm going to get at least a small incremental advantage elsewhere, but kind of showing up to leave. Usually not the game plan, as he was saving the equalizer for this moment.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Plated steel caps are the boots, by the way, that were picked up for Dudu.
I feel like Owner should have known the timing of the Impale then. And it should have just been quick and easy. I think he just greeted a little bit at the very end. He's like, I want to hit it right when the Impale is ending. And, well, he missed because he was a split second off and Dudu spamming flash the other way. And
yeah, I mean,
that's pretty much what it comes down to. Because if you just throw it in early, you just kill Dudu. He's under the turret. Like, it's pretty free.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I just don't think he expected that Dudu would flash. I think maybe he thought, okay, Dudu knows he's dead, and I'm just going to just press R on him, basically. And unfortunately, if he had just held the ult, too, expecting the flash, then he probably could have reacted to that as well. But it would have given more time to Cuz. Either way, T1's still massively ahead, as much as we're nitpicking these small moments, like Owner messing up the block on Bulldog's ultimate. At the end of the day, they're still winning big, and that's going to be an inner coming down.
Oh, and they're going for more. They're going to get the cleanse at a leaper. And now it looks like Quantum Freaks, they are desperate to try to punish, but you see Keria, he's very tanky as the cow. He's got this less opposition. Bulldog just split pushing, as now Ondil getting on in there, trying to punish here a little bit. A Solar Flare as well going to be thrown into Keria. They're like, are you serious? T1 look like they want to fight here, as now Guma on the Zeri, and the follow-up from Keria is so perfect. Gets on in there, knocks them both up. Zeus is winning this fight against Dudu. And man, Quantum Freaks really had a chance in this series, but I can feel it slipping away just now.
It is feeling unwinnable now, Valdez. I mean, it's a 4,000 gold lead nearly. Dudu will escape, but loses his flash in order to do so. Bulldog also getting a significant amount of damage done. I don't know if you want to take this.
Oh, not again.
So,
we saw this happen to Palu earlier today. And now he's trying to take down Faker, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. He might get away, though. Okay. Pretty slick from Bulldog.
Yeah.
But probably shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Luck is on his side tonight, Valdez, with these ults.
I guess so.
He does get out. We'll be able to catch this wave, too. But, again, consolation prize, as this play here, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. Faker goes to teleport to save the turret, and then Ando and Leaper, just the two of them. It's just a Kai'Sa with Cuz on the flank, blocked by Owner. It's a bit risky into this area. As ult, the Alistar, you're in Alistar pulse range. On this, at the same time, the fact that Dudu is trying to lock Zeus out of the fight actually becomes a liability at this point, because then now he can just impale you and pull you into the team fight. He then has to flash, so you lose everything. Now Bulldog gets the turret here on his second pass around. Has picked up some additional gold, gets a little golf clap here on the Kwangdong Freak side as the resilience is there.
I think it was like one guy in the audience.
Let's not forget though, Valdez, game one, it was not as big of a lead as this, but pretty large, and Kwangdong turned it around.
True. Zeus trying to take this trade, and They regret it, actually, as the harpoons are coming in. Zeus doesn't have a lot of MR, and he's just scuttling away as fast as his little scorpion legs can carry him, and he'll just barely get away.
I guess Skarner is OP, Valdez. Yeah, you were right.
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty obvious, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's balanced. Like, could be. He got nerfed, right?
Yeah, surely.
Wait.
Oh boy. Well.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he had a nice play against the Skarner, and now Cuz in a lot of trouble, and in comes Zeus as well, and he is just so tanky. It will go the way of Vi here, and now a chance for Bulldog as he gets everybody in the pit. And Leaper's so desperate to try to join, he's just gonna send it. Might as well. And down he goes, and that is another big fight in favor of T1.
Very dominant game here from T1 as Kwangdong Freaks struggling to make ends meet in terms of picking up any gold they can. Bulldog trying everything to get that bottom turret. By the skin of his teeth, escapes out of the failed teleport play, makes the escape bottom lane. But when we meet 5v5 and that teleport spotted on the ward, Rumble pops like a balloon. And on the other side of the fight, Keria is just so tanky with his ult. He can buy space here, and even though Bulldog gets a big ult, where's the follow-up? There's nothing. It's just a Kaisa here, and even with the low health bars, there's nothing Leaper could do. Keria walks out as he commits. He sends it, as you said, but sends it right to the gray screen. The Sepia, he is in the death chamber.
Yeah.
Kwangdong Freaks are 6,400 gold behind, as that gold graph just showcases how one-sided this game has been. I was mentioning it earlier before we had that fight topside. Faker, when he has Prio in mid, when he is dominating and the bottom lane is playing well, they have control over the whole map, and it always feels like in those moments Owner looks so much better. Keria.
I mean, they do have a lot of members here from the set of Kwangdong Freaks, and there's no Unbreakable Will. It was like 5 seconds away from the cooldown, and now you just gotta go.
You gotta go.
You gotta send it on the Baron. You have to. You don't have any other option.
Dudu does not have teleport, but he's got the faster rotation up here, and he does have his ultimate. Let's see what Owner can do.
Andal spotted by the Baron, helping out T1. And Andal, they're gonna look for the trade actually. In comes Bulldog. The turn is not that great, and the damage is huge from the side of T1. The Impale comes in, and Leaper just trying to get away, barely going to survive. And it's another T1 fight. Here comes Owner, looking to take down the Kaisa. And I think eventually you gotta get it. The flash missile just to shut him down. And T1 will stop the very all-in play.
The Wrath of Faker, the god of League of Legends, the GOAT. He's flash snipes him, but it feels like a smite from above as he says, no, this game is over. T1 will not lose the 8th best of 3 against Kwangdong Freaks. We're going from 7 to 8. We're getting the reverse sweep as Dudu ultless and flashless.
He's got Unbreakable Will now, and he'll utilize that very well. Down will go Dudu.
Down will go the Baron as well. T1, 10,000 gold to lead now. As like you said, you gotta try. You gotta send it to Baron. You gotta try to force. But you just don't have enough damage here. And yes, single target onto Keria. You can blow this guy up. You can kill him before he gets his Unbreakable Will back, but you can't rush this Baron down with this comp quickly enough to then be able to win this fight. The Equalizer comes in so late. The fight is essentially over beforehand. Leaper impaled. And that's the power of Skarner into dive comps. You go in on him, he says, well, I'm taking you further in. I heard you like going in. Let's see how deep we can go.
Heard you like diving.
Because that's all it takes. And then T1 are like, cool, thank you for Baron.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a 7,000 gold lead, I think, prior to the Keria pick. And so, essentially, either you try to go for the Baron and it works, or you don't go for the Baron and you lose anyway, so for any questions out there, yes, they kind of had to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do?
Yeah. We do have another try this time on the Zeus, and there are 4 people here. TP is coming in, and a triple impale, but still the damage is coming in, and now Faker is in a bit of trouble. The Vi ultimate held on to, and Kwangdong Freaks take 2 kills, and a TP's coming in. They're not done with this game yet, apparently.
That's a very low health Rumble showing up. So he's like, ooh, maybe think better about this one. As will defend 1 Nexus turret. Meanwhile, it looks like Cuz solo pushing the turret top to get the bounty.
The comeback?
Valdez, don't start with me. Like, we have seen T1 take these massive leads and then toss one team fight, then come back and win anyways. See Nongshim series, but I mean, this is obviously too much for even a Fed Skarner to handle. I think Zeus he feels pretty happy with his play initially because he gets the triple impale, he buys some time, and they're pushing mid. But if Faker just doesn't show up and they like just let the turret go, they might actually maybe be able to end the game.
Yeah.
They might actually just be able to push mid and end. Bit of a whoopsie there from T1, a bit of greed. And T1 are kind of addicted to these crazy skirmishes where someone's caught out, but T1 are like, no, we saved this. They did not in this case, but they still have full map control. They still have the prio for Baron. They still have a 9,000 gold lead, 9,500 gold lead.
Yeah, it's 8,000.
8,000. Whatever, Valdez.
Never do math on stream.
Oh, you're really counting the thousands above 5 at this point? Come on.
Yeah, probably shouldn't, actually. We did have an 18,000 lead game earlier today. And T1, they still have the Rebel Baron power play ticking for 300 gold, the difference. And they'll get another turret on the backside of that. Bulldog, maybe soon to be a champion in this game.
I mean, he's working towards it. He's got a Kraken Slayer. You know, if he gets some time with a champion, and no one's hitting him, you can do a lot. I think he's still an ult button right now.
Yeah.
He's still an ult button, but at some point, that could change. But I don't think it's likely, because for the next 2.5 minutes, T1 are going to regroup, push with their Zeri with Shiv, push with this Corki on the side, very difficult to punish, and maintain prio with the mid inhibitor down.
Yeah.
And if Kwangdong Freaks try to group and do another Death Squad play like they did last time, when Faker has TP back, they has TP the mid lane and end. That's always a threat that has to be considered here with that, you know, one Nexus turret down and the mid prio. So how do Kwangdong get back control without really that much agency here? And they have one teleport ward, but it's a rumble.
They just have to try to pick a vulnerable target. And it's probably going to have to be Faker or Guma at this point in time. I mean, Karia's not going to be caught out without Unbreakable Will again. And you see that T1, they're very confident that they are strong enough to just go for a push without Baron buff. And just siege and try to just do damage to turrets and objectives.
Bulldog could try to TP to that ward and just send it, but I don't know. Oh!
That's Dudu, and he is going to flash away. In goes Andil. The equalizer is pretty big value as they do get in the backline. Guma, though, skirts away as in goes Bulldog. They take him out. They take out Guma, and now Faker is just going to take down the other two. Dudu on the chase, and he will take down Faker because went so deep for this as well. And so did Andil, and he's just going to try to delay this one. Some shutdowns did go over to the side of the Kwangdong Freaks. I'm just not sure it's going to matter too much as Andil as well.
Just delaying what feels like the inevitable as Keria just... Okay, well that's a reset death timer, you know, that's going to be a little bit longer.
Game is not over yet.
No. I love Keria just kind of, in my headcanon, Keria just grabbed Leona's foot out of the sky and said no. So Faker does so much damage in this fight as, yes, the equalizer is massive, but Guma is Zeri. Look at the damage here from Faker. Actually unreal, as he just kind of is mid-air gatlining people down. Dudu eventually kills him, but you can see Dudu is scared. He's like, I'm one auto away from death. And then Andil, watch this on the blast. Aww.
I mean, just the fact that Kwangdong Freaks are able to find an angle down 10,000 gold
and without a wombo.
Impressive.
Well, and without a wombo from Bulldog, you know, he came in to try to finish off Faker.
Yeah.
I thought perhaps he was going to TP to that ward, which is what I was kind of leading to before that, but he stayed with the team. And, you know, the difference in items here is significant, but it's not game-ending. The bigger concern is really the lack of map control for Kwangdong. You can see they have to face check here with Andil.
Yeah, I mean, the mid inhibitor doesn't do much in terms of pressure, and it's about to come up. So Kwangdong Freaks just group in mid and say, okay, we'll try to get prio. We have to. It's not an even game state, but this is what we got to do. And Owner says, okay, we just got to fight. And they're looking for Cuz. Equalizer doesn't do much. I think it actually doesn't do any damage. And now they're going to find Leaper. Down he goes. Bulldog is just dead as well. And T1, they're going to snap that dream right out of the minds of Kwangdong Freaks and their fans and just force a team fight and end the game.
Yeah, Dudu might be able to win this 1v1. It's overheated.
Will he?
I
I don't know about that. And now Owner is coming over, and yeah, Dudu's dead. Nice try. But at the end of the day, T1 will take down the 2-1 victory. Quantum Freaks finally get one win against T1, but the series still goes over to the side of T1.
I feel like this game was all about Faker's lane control and what it gave the rest of the map. Just dominating against Bulldog's Yone so hard that the whole game just felt like it slipped away. There was some great plays from Owner as well all throughout the game. And Cuz tried his best to pick up the pieces for sure, but he couldn't make the same impact on the Vi as he did on the Maokai. Just outpaced by Owner because of the mid-prio. T1 looking very good, very clean in this final game. And Kwangdong in this series, they gave us so much to be happy for, so many interesting drafts, but T1 was the stronger team on the day. And I think even with the loss in Game 1, even with the comeback, and even with some of the shaky choices for T1 in Game 2, this is a series for T1 fans that make you feel kind of stable. I feel like Kwangdong is just a really strong team. This is not a, oh, we almost lost to Kwangdong. It's like, wow, true. Kwangdong gave us a good game.
Yeah, it's true. As we get Guma's best Zeri impression. I mean, it's a good point. I think Quantum Freaks have proven that they are a top team in the LCK. Because T1, they had some pretty good plays today. Wasn't the cleanest day, but, you know, 500 games and a lot of a lot of shushes and a lot of finger guns. Nicely
That's his
done
way of
from
saying,
Keria.
like, please don't ask me about 500 wins in the interview if I get.
Please don't make me do celebrations. I'd rather just play League of Legends.
I just want to quietly go home. Another Guma Zeri game. You know, we're blessed with him so infrequently, but I
He's
feel like
great
he
at
wasn't
this
the main
champion.
character.
I don't know why he doesn't play it more often.
Yeah. T1, such a dominant team across the LCK's history, and there were a lot of doubters early on in these first 2 weeks about their performances, looking a little bit shaky, rough around the edges, some questionable draft choices, but they finished strong against D+. They finished strong against Kwangdong here, and it feels like T1 are really finding their footing. Faker's laning phases as well, leaving us a little bit worried after MSI, but showing up in a big way here when it matters the most. Yeah, small mistake against Showmaker, ends up losing the battle at level 1, but a dominant performance here against Bulldog. The GOAT still got it.
I also feel like for Quantum Freaks, like a lot of why this game was so one-sided was just a couple of small decisions that if they are made a little bit more passively, if they take some hits rather than fully committing to going all in on a lost play, and that kind of thing is fixable. Like I think that these players individually and as a team have proven that they can fight with the best. They just got to clean up the play a little bit, and if they do that, who knows how far these guys can go. It is very promising.
They did fully commit to a few plays when it looked like the game was slipping out of their hands very quickly, like you were referring to.
Yeah.
And then the 3,000 gold became 5,000, became 7,000, became 10,000. And even with the 10K deficit, they held their own. So who knows what could happen if they played slow, like you say. I think that's a really good
They
point.
keep it a little bit more even like game 1. T1 are very much taking this very seriously, saying take it slow. Let's end it, they say, after getting 2 picks. Vi is here. I'm going to end the game, says Guma. And they do.
Yeah. Over here, I believed in Dudu for a moment. But the power of Skarner was too much.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, when he's auto-attacking overheated, he's not doing a whole lot to that Skarner. Where's Vi?
It kind of sounded like Zeus was like, wow, that was difficult. Like that was not an easy fight. And just makes us as casters of the LCK very excited because it's just another strong team that has entered. You know, props to T1, they get the win, but Quantum Freaks in an unknown quantity at this point, and I'm very excited to see how far they can go.
It's like we have, you know, a very strong D+, really in contention there. Hanwha is struggling but bouncing back, and then you have Kwangdong as this new challenger. So perhaps we lost KT as a big contender, but Kwangdong could take their place.
I wasn't going to say it.
And
yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of these weeks of play are going to go because Kwangdong Freaks being a big factor just means it's that many more hype games.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun here at the LCK. We're done on the cast. It was a great series for us. Let's send it over to the space to break down this series.
T1과 Thank you very much. This is Dear for the POG interview translation, joined by Owner and Faker on the side of T1, who just gave Guangdong Freaks their first loss. Congratulations! It looks like you guys successfully halted Guangdong's momentum. How do you feel? Guangdong's been playing really well, so we prepared just as much. And being able to win the games 2 and 3, it makes me really happy. And Faker! It was such a challenging match today, and I was very worried about it, but I was able to finish it off strong with a victory, which I'm glad about. And it looks like you two just keep getting POGs every time you guys win. Why do you think that is? I'm not too sure. I guess that's just how it is. What about Owner? What do you think? I think based on the meta, I feel like there's a lot of influence that a mid-jungle can make, so that's probably why they keep giving us the POGs for mid and jungle. And Owner, Guangdong was on a roll with their win streak, and so after the regretful Game 1 loss, what feedback was there? There was a lot of places we messed up on, but I believe that just based on the comp value, there are a lot of difficulties, so we just tried to focus on fixing our draft. And Faker, in Game 2, your opponent took out AD carry Talia, which hasn't been seen for almost 5 years. And Faker, since you've played against the Talia Pantheon comp at 2019 Worlds Finals, how was facing them at bot again? Yeah, they don't normally pick Talia bot, and I definitely didn't expect it. But I just thought to myself, our bot will do well for us. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So how did the Gumayushi Keria duo react to these picks? I think they're just reacting, oh, I guess it is Talia AD carry. And Owner, in Game 2, you picked Viego along with the Ahri after a while. So what synergy were you looking for here? And Viego has a lot of movement, and I believe that I was able to utilize that with Ahri. And we got Ahri, Faker. Of course, as the new Ahri skin owner, did you contemplate on using your own skin? There are so many people wondering if you're going to use it or not. I thought you were going to use it, but why didn't you? You know, I was just focusing on the match, and I was not really used to trying to pick out the skin, so that's just not something that I even thought about. I hope that my fans, though, make good use of my skin. And in Games 1 and 3, you took Sejuani as your first pick, and we also saw you ban her in Game 2, so what makes you rate Sejuani so highly? I feel like just the engages and being able to jungle clear really fast. I think right now, she's just a really well-rounded jungle in this current meta right now. And Faker, in Game 3, we got a mid-Corki versus Yone matchup. And from the very start, you completely erased Yone's presence away. So what are your thoughts on the Corki versus Yone matchup? I feel like it's just based on how you play out. I feel like my game just played out really nicely for me. I was pretty comfortable playing the match, and I think this is the comp and matchup that you can probably see pretty often. And Faker, we noticed that you picked Muramana, so what's so good about this item? I feel like Muramana is good because it has a lot of mana. And Owner, there is another news to celebrate. Keria has reached 500 total LCK games, and he's the second support to achieve this milestone. Anything you'd like to say? Honestly, it's not my own achievement, so I didn't really care too much, but since he was able to reach this milestone, you know, I'd like to say congratulations. And Faker, yeah, Keria, I hear that you heard, oh, you reached 500 total LCK games. I hope for your success. And now we've been seeing your cheering chants from T1 and Owner. So it sounds something like that. How do you like your own cheering chant? Yeah, I saw that. I heard it. It's great. No, if a lot of people are able to cheer and chant for me, it would be really nice. I see it as a positive thing.
축복의 주인이니만큼 기대하겠습니다. 그리고 또 이제 응원가가 아직 공개되지 않은 상태잖아요, 페이커 선수.
And so for Faker, whose chants haven't been revealed yet,
근데 뭐 팬분들이 널리
are they worth looking forward to?
걸로 저는 신청을 해가지고 네.
I requested for a song that a lot of you guys already know. A lot of my fans probably already have heard of it. So yeah, please look forward to it. And your next opponent will be DRX, who is also on a good momentum. So what will your resolution be? Yeah, we definitely do believe that DRX is doing very good. So we'll make sure that we don't get too complacent. We will make sure that we are prepared. And Faker,
계속해서 저희가 경기력을 끌어올리는 게 중요하기 때문에
I feel like it's most important that we get our potential up to and reach our ceiling this summer. So we'll make sure that we do well and we'll put in our best for that. And that's the end of the interview from Owner and Faker of T1 and back to the space. Thank you.